What's up, y'all? So listen, airing right now on HBO is one of my new favorite shows, a Black Lady sketch show. It is a brand new comedy written by, directed by, and starring Black women. Thank you so much, Robin Thede, for the latest laughs. This is a groundbreaking new series that's exploring cultural relevant themes, including social norms, anxiety, sex, dating, all of the above. It's starring Robin Thede, Quinta Brunson, Ashley Nicole Black, and Gabrielle Dennis, with guest appearances from some of your faves. Issa Rae is on it. Marseille Martin's on it. Amber Riley is on it. David Allen Greer. Like everybody that you could possibly want, and surely more to come, because it's gonna come back because it's so great. When Bob the drag queen jumped back and forth talking about
the basic
he's not eating. He's at work.
I see you eating carbs.
So great. A Black Lady sketch show airs Friday nights and is available to stream now. Only on HBO. Go check them out. Let's move on.
Hey y'all, this week's episode is also brought to you by Smile Direct Club. If you want a smile that makes you feel like $1,000,000 without paying a fortune, then Smile Direct Club is for you. They make it easy to get the smile you've always wanted for up to 60% less than the cost of braces. To get started, all you gotta do is take the free 30-second smile assessment online to find out if you're a candidate and get a free at-home impression kit with the rebate and $100 off your aligners when you go to SmileDirectClub.com/podcast and use offer code TheRead. Again, that's SmileDirectClub.com/podcast. Code is The Read. Get your smile together with The Read and Smile Direct, girl. Way cheaper than braces. All right, let's start the show.
Turn it inside out so I can see.
I know this.
The part of you that's drifting over me. And when I wake, you're never there. And when I sleep, you're everywhere. You're everywhere. Da-dum-dum.
Do I know this?
Dum-dum. Just tell me how I got this far.
Maybe I don't. Do.
Just tell me why you're here and who you are. 'Cause every time I look, you're never there.
I do know
and
it.
every time I sleep, you're always there. 'Cause you're everywhere to me. And when I close my eyes, it's you I see. You're everything I know that makes me believe.
Bitch!
I'm not alone. I'm not alone. Not alone.
Who? I have to Google it. Is it Avril Lavigne? Michelle Branch.
Michelle the Branch.
Oh. Now, had you done that, I'll walk 1,000 miles just to see you.
Vanessa Carlton.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, it is.
Michelle, okay, no. Goodbye to You. That's my favorite Michelle Branch
Okay,
song.
that is a fantastic
That is
piece
a
of music.
great song.
That's a great song.
But I did get her and Vanessa Carlton mixed up a lot.
I did too. Like, so, like, I feel like they were like right around the corner from each other with similar bops. But
Goodbye to You is a great breakup song. If you're going through it, just play that. Turn the tequila up.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I am Michelle Branch.
And I am Angela Bassett. Why not?
And this is The Read.
That's right. Back again with our bullshit. What's going on this week?
Lots of Black excellence, first of all. That's what's going on.
Great.
So
wonderful.
I'd like to start this week's Black excellence by saying how happy I am that I don't have to march down to Viacom in a couple of weeks with my thickest boot and kick somebody's door in.
That's right.
I'm just glad
15, y'all knew.
we are where we needed to be with decision making.
Yes.
So if you haven't heard, Missy Elliott will be receiving her deserved Video Vanguard
That's right.
Award
Incredibly overdue.
from MTV
That's right.
later this month. I mean, if you've seen Missy Elliott's videos, you understand
That's
that
right.
This is just a long time coming. And quite frankly, like, I'm not even going to do the whole,
The normal
hullabaloo that I
spin that we
would. I've
normally
already done what I need. I've told you bitches, write her. producer, singer,
And yet you're doing
rapper,
it. Yep.
dancer,
That's right.
actress.
Yes.
You girls need to know what type. Visionary.
A connoisseur of looks.
Inspiration. And icon. I mean, I'm tired of playing with y'all bitches, but clearly you tired of playing with yourselves too. So here we are.
Go off.
Missy will be collecting her things. It's about motherfucking time. I believe she will also give you Paltry Bitches a performance.
Which y'all truly don't deserve.
You really don't deserve. But here we are.
And I'm grateful because really, honestly, Missy should have been the second person to get this award right after Michael Jackson.
Hello.
And that's not even like, no shade to all the others who have received it. I mean, shade to some of y'all. Jennifer Lopez, girl, we still don't understand. But
it's all right.
The fact that Missy was not number 2 to get this award means that y'all been bullshitting over at Viacom since you created it.
Who was number 2? Janet? Because I know Janet got one. I just don't remember if she was number 2.
Well, I don't remember who was. Okay. Yes.
If Janet was 2, then fine.
Fine. I will allow it. Because legendary status and, the sister of Michael Jackson. I will.
Missy Elliott shouldn't be getting a Video Vanguard Award in 2019.
Yes.
That is the point.
But here we are. Fucking Timberlake. But it don't matter. It do not matter. Because, Missy is not hateful and stank ugly about it like we are. She's just very grateful and gracious.
Last year she was talking about, hopefully I can put in the work and, maybe that. Fuck that.
No, fuck that, girl. You already
ain't no about being humble.
Yeah, no.
You have painted yourself black. You've been covered in bees. You have stretched your neck out and spat in niggas' mouths.
Yes.
You have crawled across the ground. You've had Trina twerking in your videos. Girl, no more.
You turn trash bags into couture. We will speak your name.
I'm sorry.
We will stand forever.
No more.
Period.
So...
Thank you, MTV, for not making us have to come down there and whoop y'all's asses. Because y'all knew.
It was for the best.
There was a whole fucking petition. Like, Viacom, stop being dumbasses about this.
Top tier music videos.
And that's shit is not old.
Some of your faves just get somebody to bring in a smoke machine and a few strobe lights.
Come on.
A car that is not theirs and a couple of bad IG bitches. Missy Elliott has been giving you girls treatments.
Woo.
Treatments for decades. The buck stops here. Give that bitch her things. August 26th, the MTV VMAs to watch.
That's right.
Because finally they're acting like they got some goddamn sense.
That's right.
Hello, and congratulations to the queen. The girls could simply wish that they could touch the hem of your garment.
That's right.
And be made new. I'm done.
These hoes can't do nothing but hope about it, period. Missy's videos still look futuristic. Today.
Y'all bitches out here sampling songs from R&B girls that the doll wrote. Looking up to artists that have called on the doll for a hot record. Act like you got some goddamn sense. I'm tired.
She is to be revered. She is to be celebrated. She is to be uplifted for the incredible work she has done, especially in the realm of music videos and that particular art form. And it's just late. But it's more than deserved, and I'm glad MTV will finally be releasing Missy's things back to her. It was always hers. It was just a matter of y'all actually stopping the bullshit.
In the words of the great MC Deborah, you don't have to see it, because you know it. That's all that matters.
Amen. What a word.
Also, Black Excellence, Simone Biles. So let's talk about how Simone Biles is a real life X-Man.
This didn't look real.
I don't. What?
I was like, can the human body do that?
I asked the same. So, nearly a week ago, she became the first person in history to nail a double-double landing on the beam.
Okay.
She's now also first woman to land a triple-double on the floor. Now, if you don't know what any of that means, like I had to Google, you can simply look for clips of this woman defying gravity and breaking records. She's also the first woman in almost 70 years to win 6 U.S. all-around titles. at the USA Gymnastics Championship. What an icon. I mean, Black Widow could literally never. Scarlett Johansson wishes. I mean, here we have the real Black Widow. The Avengers, the MCU, they need to be calling the girl. Because how do you do this? She flipped goddamn like...
Yeah, it don't make no... If you haven't seen the video, you really have to look it up. Because the number of times this girl moved her body in the air just do not seem like it's
How do you even learn how to do that?
Right. The article I read said Simone Biles has once again broken gymnastics. Because, like, you should literally not even be... the human body not supposed to be capable of doing the things she can do.
I would have literally done the Annalise Keating gif and picked up my purse and just walked off.
Like, this bitch. Like,
I don't want to play no more.
I'm not, bitch. I'm going home.
I don't want to play no more.
We stand.
And last but not least, I just wanted to send love to Afton Williamson. Did you hear about this story?
I did not.
The actor who left this show on ABC, The Rookie.
Oh my God.
So apparently she
Holy shit.
had she'd spoken to, I guess, the showrunners and EPs of people on this show about racist, bullying, inappropriate racist comments, and sexual harassment that she was experiencing on the set of this show. And she says that it went, when she found out that, like, they weren't reporting the stuff to HBR. When they weren't reporting the stuff to HR, they weren't really doing anything about fixing it. She left the show. And she also, talked about like a history of abuse that she's experienced and stuff like that. And I just feel like if she were white, there would be more people talking about this. So I just wanted to send love to her and to her talent and everything that she's going through and just say you're awesome.
I'm glad you said something because, like, you're right. If she was white, this would have been all over every fucking thing. And this is my first time hearing about it. And I just Googled it real quick and goddamn, that is so sad. Like, the story itself is sad.
Read it and go send that lady some love because it's like, if we were talking about literally any Katherine Heigl or something like that, and I'm not trying to like shit on anybody because, you know, whatever, but I just know, you know what I mean? The temperature out here.
It absolutely would be.
And it's like, where are all of these feminists to support this lady? Like Hollywood, white Hollywood specifically is so quick to stand up when a white person in Hollywood goes through these types of things. And then you have to Google because somebody casually mentions it at the water cooler when it's a black person.
Right.
And nothing's really done. And they will likely kill off her character or replace her or whatever and keep on moving and it'll like it ain't nothing. Good.
Right. Yeah. Love to you, Afton Williamson.
All right, so in this week's pop culture segment, which is titled Hot Tops, Pee-wee's Big Adventurous Bottom. Man,
what is
lots to talk about. So this Coming to America sequel is coming along nicely, I'd say, in my individual opinion.
Okay.
I knew that they would call it Coming to America with the number 2. I don't know if that's the official title or whatever, but that's definitely what they're doing right now.
I mean, that would make sense.
But besides Eddie Murphy returning as Prince Hakeem in the film, we've got Arsenio Hall, which we knew. James Earl Jones is back. Paul Bates. John Amos is on. Shari Headley was announced today that she's coming back to return.
Yes, I saw that.
As her role. Wesley Snipes is apparently going to be in it. Jermaine Fowler, Leslie Jones, whoop whoop, love me some Les Jones. Kiki Lane, who I love. Apparently Rick Ross is going to be in this movie.
Ooh, what?
Like, I don't know how I feel about seeing Rick Ross wrapped in cheetah print talking about, but I mean.
Maybe he'll be a CO.
I'm going.
He might. You never know.
Vanessa Bell Calloway is also coming back apparently. So this seems to be lining up to be one that, you know, at least we've got the right people in the right places.
I'm going.
At the moment. I'm going.
Yeah.
Coming to America is really one of my favorite movies, period. And so you've got enough people back. I want to see what you're talking about. I think I mentioned before, but the plot, as it says here on Deadline, follows former Prince Hakeem, who is sent to become king of Zamunda, when he discovers he has a son he never knew about in America.
Oh, Lord.
A street-savvy Queens native named Lavelle. Honoring his father's dying wish to groom this son as the crowned prince, Hakeem and Semi set off to America.
Wow. So James Earl Jones is going to be in this movie for all of like 15 minutes
Probably.
and get his whole full check. I'm not mad. Listen, he finessed Disney the exact same way.
Okay.
I bet he didn't even really re-record his vocals. He was just like, I guess y'all could use it again.
Like, look. So just take half of my lines from the old one, and I just
I'm not mad at that. Yes, you better recycle these checks. Get checks for the same movie over and over. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm sad to see his character dying, but it makes sense. Like, I understand that being the catalyst for him coming back to America and finding his son and all that. So
right,
good. This will be fun. I think.
Eddie Murphy's producing with Kevin Misher and Kenya Barris. So, okay. Kenya from the Blackish.
Which Blackish is in syndication already. I die.
And Loretta Devine is going to be on the next season, bitch. They're not slowing up or stopping.
Loretta Devine was so fed up on a Black Lady sketch show.
I was in tears. When she leaned in and said, "Do you want to tap that ass tonight or not?"
She was over it.
What a treasure.
She really is. But like seeing all these, there's actually episodes of Blackish that I don't remember seeing, even though I feel like I've seen every episode. So just going back, first of all, you can see how big these kids have gotten.
God. Miles has a full mustache.
And today is Marseille's birthday, first of all. 15 years old. Yeah. Fully was not ready for that. And I just saw some commercial she was in the other day. I'm like, she is really a little lady now. Like, they were babies then.
If you go back to, I remember watching the first season of Blackish and falling in love with that little girl.
Yeah.
But remembering
she's so good.
Outside of how funny she was,
right.
How tiny she was
right.
at the time.
We have really watched them grow up.
Like, I literally remember how small those kids who play the twins were on the pilot, and now they're about to be grown.
Right.
Probably, you know what I'm saying? Having grown-up roles soon and cussing. I don't know. Well, how old am I?
Oh, God, no. See, I'm not going to be able to handle it when Marseille does her Euphoria. I'm not going to be able to.
I can barely handle Zendaya and Storm Reed in that show.
Oh, like, goddamn. Listen, Euphoria was fucking good.
What a great piece of television.
Are they doing another season of that?
They have to be.
I don't know.
It did so well.
It did do really well. It was incredible. And
I mean, I would be
so
mad
disturbing.
if they were like, oh, we feel like we wrapped it up on some artsy shit. You know how some shows like to be like, one season was enough.
Yeah.
We said everything that we wanted to.
Kiss my ass.
Fuck that. Come back. We got questions that need answers.
Right.
That was a great show.
It really was. It was, anyway, it fucked me up though in a lot of ways.
It did.
Like, the youth are not all right. They are not, girl. Everything is not okay.
Some of it was super heavy, especially during like the first half of the season. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, I think it just started to start.
Well, I mean, it came in crazy.
With the
9/11 footage. It was like, and then I thought about like, damn, the people born during that time, they really are like coming of age now. Holy shit. And yeah, you were born into chaos, literally, in so many ways. But anyway, great programming. Shout out to HBO and Zendaya and everybody involved, because that show was really it.
I did enjoy it.
Yes.
And Rose has canceled this year's Slut Walk, or the latest Slut Walk, whenever the next one is.
Okay.
She's still preggers.
Oh, right.
So she shared the following on her IG. Not really an iOS press release, but more of like iOS slam poetry. I don't know. So she left one of y'all's quote poems that y'all like to screenshot. And it says, "Let me tell you this. If you meet a loner, no matter what they tell you, it's not because they enjoy solitude. It's because they have to try to blend into the world before, and people continue to disappoint them." Okay. So the caption says,
okay.
"So me. I stopped being friends with about 20 people last year. I've had friends steal jewelry and money from me, sleep with my boyfriends behind my back, male friends lying and telling people we were sleeping together." Can totally see that.
Sounds like a nigga.
"Alcoholic, drug addict friends, abusive friends, toxic personality friends, and I even had a friend call social services on me twice for no fucking reason, only to sue me for calling her and cursing her out when I found out it was her. That phone call cost me $168,000.
God damn.
Man, the list goes on. She must have told that bitch that she was coming with blades.
Yeah, she must have threatened her life. And that girl she definitely had the recorder on.
Of course. Man, the list goes on. You have no idea. The funny thing is I never snitched publicly on anyone. Ain't that some shit? People may not know this, but I'm extremely unproblematic. I don't start fights.
What?
I don't do drugs. I'm as sweet as pie and constantly get walked all over. I'm so happy God has blessed me with a new baby and an amazing man. I love that she capitalized new baby and amazing man as if they're like
proper nouns.
Song titles or something. To help me through all the turmoil. That's why I've been laying so low during this pregnancy. No toxicity will be tolerated over here. Only positive vibes. Fuck fake friends and their weirdo shit. I'd rather just have my family and my team. P.S. This is also why I'm not having my slut walk this year.
What?
Sorry, I just have to protect my energy and peace. Mother.
So we went through all that to get a PS. That's why I'm not having slut walk. But what do the people you've cut out your life have to do with slut walk?
I don't know. Maybe some of the people that she cut out of her life are the people she's used to working with on
I'm
slut
assuming
walk.
she means Black China. Like she and China fell out.
I think
maybe?
a lot of people are assuming she means Black China.
But I mean, girl, the slut walk thing is your brand. You don't need China to have a parade.
I think that Mama is just pregnant and wants to lay down.
And that's fine.
And that's perfect.
That is fine. I just don't understand. Well, we got all of this information that you probably also shared with your therapist, beforehand.
Assuming she has one.
But assuming she has one, because the fact that she said I'm sweet as pie and I constantly get walked all over makes me think she doesn't know how to establish boundaries with people. But
when you're famous, you're going to attract toxic people.
Yeah, you're going to attract people who want your money. Or your fame.
Attention, access, whatever.
Listen,
your rap niggas, your ex-rap niggas,
the clout
whatever.
that these niggas can't stop talking about.
Right.
All that shit.
So I get that.
And I doubly get being pregnant and not wanting to be around no dumb shit.
Super get that. And I have no uterus.
I feel like we could have just had but I'm also not mad at her sharing her feelings. That's fine.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with what she's sharing or, saying I'm going to skip out on this thing that y'all used to me doing because I'm growing a human being and I just want to. Right.
You do have to protect your energy and your peace. You're right, girl, because growing a person is not easy work and you don't need nothing stressing you out. So
and guess what, girl? Sluts gonna walk regardless because they got places to be and people to do. So you ain't even got to worry about that. The show's gonna go on.
A mess.
So if you just want to, rest your swollen feet, honey.
Listen.
Until that motherfucker exits the premises.
Totally understandable.
We are here over at the Read. Support your decision.
Girl, do that shit. Don't be bounded with these niggas or these whites
and possibly Black China. We don't know.
She posted a video with her Well, Sebastian is not a baby no more. Goddamn.
Oh yeah, Sebastian about to be in college.
That is a whole man. Look! Oh my God! Look at him.
He's literally. He should tutor me. That young man is so bright.
He's so cute. His little face.
I'm Bash Hive.
Still,
I've already said
the
this.
Bash Hive is still fully in effect. Okay,
live for the bash.
Oh God, look at him. Ugh, I'm getting old, man. All these kids.
Peace and love to Miss Ambereese Rose and protecting her energy. Hope you have a healthy
Good luck just
labor.
Yeah, because that is not no punk shit.
And the rest of your pregnancy. I don't even know how far along she is.
Me either, but I feel like I've known she was pregnant forever.
Yeah, I remember hearing about her being pregnant maybe some months ago, and I think that she was getting an ultrasound or something by then. So, here, I'm looking at her, but she's still with the wigs.
I see being pregnant is not stopping her from promoting that damn flat tummy tea.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Formula is not free. Not for nobody, including Amber Rose.
And the caption says, I may not be able to drink it yet. But that's not going to stop me from getting this ad money. I know that's right.
Bitch, do you, girl? I'm not buying none, drinking none, promoting none, believing in none.
But
you know what I'm not doing?
You.
And judging you, sis. Is this the baby father? Oh, yeah, we did talk about the baby father and the differences in captions. You
that rapper we had never heard of?
Yeah.
Or a producer? What does he do? Something like that.
He's Oakland boy, Last King Records, VP of A&R at Def Jam.
Oh, right.
According to his Instagram bio.
Okay, great. That's great. Good for him. And good for her.
All right. Well, A$AP Rocky has been convicted of assault, found guilty of the assault in Sweden. But he won't have to go to jail for it or pay a fine Technically.
He doesn't have to pay a fine?
Technically.
He has to pay a fine.
So, right. So, the Stockholm District Court said the court finds that the defendants were not in a situation where they were entitled to self-defense and that they have assaulted the victim by hitting and kicking him. They also say that based on the financial ability of Rocky Mayers and his friends, they will need to cover the legal expenses incurred in the case.
Wow.
So do they pay a fine? Nah. They just got to pay for all of the bullshit.
So, yes. You coming up out them pockets.
So you're coming up out them pockets.
Right. I mean, but you'll be all right.
I mean, you just did a festival like couple of days ago.
Yeah, so I think you're good.
I think you should be all right. Rakim said the following on his Instagram. It says, I am, of course, disappointed by today's verdict. I want to say thanks again to all of my fans, friends, and everyone in Soho who it doesn't say that. And everyone who showed me love during this difficult time. I'm going to keep moving forward. Thank you to my team, my management, attorneys, label, and everyone who had advocated for justice. So again, all I have to say to this is good for you for being out. I do think that the situation you were in was bullshit, and I'm very interested in hearing your first real interview. God, I pray that it is not some cape-wearing ass nigga that's not going to ask you no real questions. I want somebody with sense to talk to him in length about this, about blackness, about hip-hop, and all of the above. That's what I'm interested in hearing. But goody for you for not being in jail no more. Because he didn't really need to be in jail from what I saw. No,
he didn't. That was foolish. But when you said Rakim, I thought you meant like Eric B. and Rakim. And
that's who he's named after.
And I was just about to ask you if he was.
Mm-hmm. He says mama named him after the rapper.
Wow. Incredible.
Yep.
Okay. Well, go off then, sir. Oh, so no wonder he didn't rap under Rakim. Like, that's not gonna work, sir. No, the man is still alive and you know all that. Okay, well, womp. Okay. I hope everybody in Soho is there for him while he has to write this check.
I'm sure that nigga has had copious amounts of liquor and white bitches since getting back.
Plenty of drugs.
Plenty fine.
And exotic vagina. He's good.
So the NYPD is closing an investigation into a police commander who said that he wanted 50 Cent shot on sight. I don't know if you remember this story. I don't think we talked about it on the show.
No, I definitely do not.
I did remember hearing about it when it came out.
What the hell?
Apparently, they launched an investigation. They, specifically being the Internal Affairs Bureau Group 1, who handles police corruption. I couldn't even get it out.
Okay, right.
Handles police corruption cases for captains and above. Okay. So anyway, they say that... Wow.
The fact that there's so much corruption that they have to have a totally separate one.
And still ain't doing shit. Like, it's just in place so that they can say that something's in place.
Right.
So Brooklyn Deputy Inspector Emmanuel Gonzalez allegedly said it. Okay, so they were having like a NYPD sanctioned boxing match or something in the Bronx.
Good God.
And during a roll call, this Gonzalez character said that if 50 Cent showed up, he wanted him shot on sight. And then, of course, claimed it to be a joke and blah, 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 whatever. A spokeswoman for the NYPD says that the case is closed. This allegation was unsubstantiated and closed, is what she said. 50 Cent apparently posted and deleted. I knew that they were not going to do anything about this, so I stopped talking about it. NYPD is hands down the toughest gang in New York. You just got to be ready for whatever. You know the vibes. So I just think it's completely foolish that this motherfucker, like, what is this? Like, you literally said, shoot this nigga on sight, but that was...
Like, how is that a joke coming from a police officer with a gun and talking to a whole bunch of other people who also have guns? Like, what? And knowing the history of the police force, including and especially the NYPD.
My God.
And y'all's total like willingness and like honestly you're excited about shooting niggas. Like it happens so frequently, and knowing that y'all get away with it, it's just like, how did he not at least win a lawsuit?
That nigga must have heard about 50 Cent coming by, and instantly in his mind it played, they say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poets. Because he absolutely thought he was a character on Power.
I guess he did. I guess so. But this just seems like, well, you're right. Of course, the police force is not really going to do nothing when it come down to it. But that's just
they're
raggedy.
literally the best gang. And this is not exclusive to the New York Police Department.
That is just so raggedy.
Police and this motherfucker all together.
Yeah.
Bloods, Crips, nobody can see these motherfuckers at all. Because they will kill you and literally get away with it.
Exactly.
There's nobody who could put them nowhere because they're going to hold each other down.
Yes. Period. Always.
You can't touch the police.
Boys in blue. Right. Every New York rapper has talked about this shit and said the exact same damn thing. Nothing has changed. So, wow. Yikes.
But I mean, you know, he's alive and making about 3 more versions of Power.
Right.
So I guess all we can say is thanks
on the other hand,
for that.
It is 50 Cent. And while I don't want nobody unjustly killed by the police, I'm also not like a huge fan of the shit 50 Cent be saying and doing. So it's
50
like,
Cent is a living troll. He just has a good time like trolling. And
like,
people love him for that.
Yeah, they do. But like, trolls need to grow up. Like, so you're a whole grown ass man.
Sometimes
still
it's
playing games on the internet.
Sometimes it's funny. And like when that nigga said that he bought out 200 seats or whatever at a Ja Rule concert.
That was hilarious.
That is golden.
It is.
And then other times it's like, okay, 50, like, come on now, bro. So I just don't care.
Like with the Blaze Her girl, it's no need to keep harping on that. It's not.
Now,
there's no need to keep harping on that.
That was a back and forth cipher of disses because Tierra Marie wasn't gonna fold for nobody. That bitch put out diss records and Photoshop shit and all kinds of stuff.
She folded for that verdict.
Well, she didn't have no choice but to fold for the verdict. And did she? Because what she hasn't been doing is folding up dollar bills to give to him.
Look, and he know good and damn well she ain't got that money. It's why she's like, sir, you could also grow up. You know, that is an option.
But like the whole way that whole thing happened itself was 50 Cent trolling and taking it too far. Because there was no reason for him to be involved in that shit.
And it don't have to be malicious like it's so often. Like you could troll like 50 Cent or you could troll like Will Smith.
Will Smith trolls?
Right, exactly. Yes, he does. But he trolls his family and he does it in a loving,
that don't count.
Way. It does. You could be that instead of this awful terribleness shit. And then he films it and puts it in these cute little edited videos for us to enjoy on Instagram.
First of all, 50 Cent has actual familial issues and they make me sad. Like, sincerely.
The way he treats his son, that shit is so wrong.
It just makes me sad that they had that relationship at all. Because I remember him holding his baby up when Marquise was like super, super tiny. And he looks exactly like him. It just makes me sad every single time. And I think that people find like entertainment in that too. That's another example to me of like, okay, there's funny. And then there's just like, okay, this is unnecessary. Like anytime that he posts anything about his other son or anything else, someone brings up his first son. And it's just like the trolling and the laughs and the beefing with Rick Ross and Ja Rule and Irv Gotti or whoever else is like plenty of memes and fun to be made out of that. But then other things is just like, I can't react to this because it's just
fucked up and
funny.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
But this, the police being ashy and raggedy, no surprise there.
And getting away with it right in front of your face. It's like, of course, it's NYPD.
They could have just lined up next to each other and taken a photo mooning him and posted it on whatever social. Because they didn't give a fuck. They could have actually shot that nigga on site and would have been like, we don't know what you girls are talking about.
The cop who killed Eric Garner, I'm pretty sure still has not been fired, right?
I don't think so.
He definitely, and even though Bill de Blasio was confronted straight up on the debate stage, like, you can't really talk about combating racism and fighting bullshit and all that, sir, when you haven't even fired the officer who killed Eric Garner. And I was like, oop, tell de Blasio again, make him pick his fucking face up. And even still. So, you know.
This is so off topic, but did you see Chris Cuomo going off after being called that nigga from The
Italian
Godfather?
shit, talking about it was the Italian version of the N-word?
I love...
White people crazy.
And like, you know, whatever your derogatory terms are, you have the right to be offended and cuss somebody out over whatever. I just love how many people take whatever derogatory terms or slurs from their culture or race or whatever and be like, it's like if you were to say the N-word. It's like so many people understand the gravity of that word and simultaneously we still trying to convince motherfuckers not to say it. That
it's
black.
Not like the N-word because you already know the N-word is the standard for ugliness. You already know that.
You won't even say it. You say
N-word. I actually saw a debate on cable news once about like which one is worse, the N-word or whatever other slur. And one of the panelists was like, the fact that we're saying one of these out loud and the other one will have asterisks and bleeps over it lets you know which one is worse.
Yeah, that was like a very viral moment.
Yeah, yeah, that shit was wild.
Because it was like, there's the answer right in the question.
It's right here in the text.
So...
Oh, Lord.
In news that blew my eyebrows off, apparently there's some long-term partnership between Rock Nation and the NFL now.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck is that?
NFL is calling them the live music entertainment strategists. And
what does that even mean?
The partnership, to me, it means that they're going to leave the Super Bowl shit to Rock Nation. The partnership will begin as the NFL's 100th. I don't care about that. And will serve as a commitment from Rock Nation and the NFL to nurture and strengthen community through music.
Oh, girl.
And the NFL's Inspire Change initiative, which I think Jay-Z also has something to do with, but I'm not sure. Rock Nation will spearhead and advise on the selection of artists for the NFL tentpole performances, including the Super Bowl. There you go. And will assist in the production and promotion of new music as well as culture and cause-focused initiatives. Core component of the partnership will be to amplify the Inspire Change platform priority areas identified by NFL players, including education and economic advancement, improving police community relations, and criminal justice reform. So... Jay-Z and this other man whose name has escaped me and I can't find
Robert Kraft?
Yes. No, not him.
Oh.
Someone else.
A white billionaire?
More than very likely. So they had like a little press moment where they were talking about it. Obviously, there was lots of criticism coming up and Colin Kaepernick's name was echoed a million times over and things like that. And they seem to be, you know, firm in this idea that they can make substantial change and eradicate some ignorance and some nonsense over at the National Football League, and that this partnership is a step in that direction. To that I say I will believe it when I see it. Unless y'all about to have a Negro barbecue in the middle of that field during the Super Bowl and only niggas are allowed to go in. I don't know what you're gonna do. Are you gonna have Beyonce perform Freedom while every black NFL player kneels? I don't like what you know what I mean? Like, because this just doesn't feel good, especially being that Kaepernick wasn't involved. Eric Reid wasn't involved. They say that they didn't know anything about it. So it's like, I'm going to sit and wait. Okay. And see what they do with this before I pass judgment.
Because right now, to me, it just looks like very rich niggas, very rich people using each other to make more money. Yeah. Right. Without any real thought to the other parts of it. But I don't know. Like, I kind of thought on the one hand, since Colin got his check, that
niggas were over it?
Niggas was honestly, yes. Like, and I'm not going to go back to watching the NFL every week because my blood pressure is lower.
You know I'm good.
And I'm less stressed. But I had my Super Bowl party last year and the year before that, and I will continue to have it because first of all, that's my baby 28 and 3's birthday.
It means a lot to you.
And secondly, that day is like a holiday in the United States. Like, it is just a huge cultural moment. And I'd love to, any fucking reason to have people over to my house.
It literally means funny commercials and movie trailers to me.
And that's fine. But for me, it is the one football game I will watch a year.
Possibly a show, a concert that I may be interested in. Usually I'm not. So
I am glad that Colin Kaepernick, I'm glad he stood up for what he believed in and it led to all this. But I'm also glad for my health because I am a much calmer, happier person without the NFL stressing me out every fucking week. So This to me, honestly, like I said, it just sounds like rich people looking to make each other richer. But remember, the NFL really struggled with finding somebody for the halftime show. Girl, Maroon 5, gross.
Oh yeah, all the girls were like,
that was after Rihanna and Pink were like, you got me fucked up.
Not only fuck you, but fuck you.
But now that Rock Nation is running things, I feel like they'll be able to have, maybe Rihanna will be doing the Super Bowl halftime show now. So,
and this is like right on the heels of the owner of the Dolphins or something having a Trump fundraiser
that
or something like
that. That motherfucker got cussed out last week, yes. And Robert Kraft, the man who brokered the deal, is very good friends with the president.
And it's like, y'all literally worked together to keep this brother unemployed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, well, we didn't like that shit that he did and we're operating from a place of ignorance, but now we're listening and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like, y'all sincerely.
Y'all were mad.
For this man, speaking of trying to spread awareness to a real fucking fact, y'all are like, nah. And you like, so to me, especially with Jay-Z and his raps and a lot of his efforts has tried, well, I won't say tried because I don't know, but like has sort of given me I Love Us for real.
Yeah.
With very much a lot of the stuff that he talks about and like black ownership and making a difference and stuff like that, which is why I'd like to give him and Rock Nation the benefit of the doubt with what's going on here or whatever. But just in the moment, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
Because it's just like, I mean, because people do expect, quote unquote, better from Jay-Z. I mean, he put in his own fucking songs, like, I said no to the Super Bowl, you need me, I don't need you. Like, so this is just like very much a total 180 from what we would have expected.
Right.
So, like you said, unless it's about to be like Rock Nation makes all decisions about the Super Bowl, the NFL don't get to approve nothing, and we just have a blackity black ass show where everybody disrespects the fucked out white people and calls out racism and calls Trump everything that he really is, then it's just like, what exactly is going on here?
But I feel like at the same time, sure, the Super Bowl is like the most watched NFL event and probably one of the most watched event period.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like that alone isn't going to be enough, I think, to like eradicate the fuckery within the league, period, much less what's going on in community.
Right, exactly. This is not a real solution for anybody but the billionaires. So,
but I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't do something, you know, out here or whatever, but I can't help but feel like this is an opportunity because the black dollar is the black dollar is the black dollar.
Right.
And white folk can hate us all they want to. They know that at the end of the day, when we're off it, they got to scramble to figure out which one of these Negroes can help them get that card back.
Because Maroon 5 doing the Super Bowl was a tragedy.
Honey, couldn't tell you nothing about it.
I was like, this might be the first time that I have been like, I would rather take a nap than look at this halftime show. Like, bring on the commercials. Because, girl, what the fuck is this?
Couldn't tell you. At least Katy Perry brought out Missy.
She did. True.
And you'd think it was Missy's halftime show.
I mean, it might as well have been. I wanted Missy to stay.
I don't know shit Katy Perry did that year. Did she ride a unicorn?
Probably Teenage Dream or something. I was thinking, did she jump off a building? But that was Lady Gaga. So,
did
never mind.
Jump off of a building?
Remember Lady Gaga like did a fake, like a woo, and she just kind of jumped off of like a ledge or something, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of odd things.
You know, she's weird. She's ridiculous. I saw it in her documentary, whatever that documentary was.
I haven't seen that yet.
It was interesting, you know.
You know which one I really want to watch too? I haven't watched Amy.
Oh, I haven't watched Amy either. Probably because for a long time I was like, no, don't feel like getting in my feelings thing.
Look, yes, that.
Because I really loved me some Amy Winehouse.
With my full heart.
I was devastated when she died.
I cried all day.
I was just... Anyway, okay, we were talking about...
Yeah, we're talking about this Rock Nation NFL thing.
Rich people are gonna,
oh my God, Jay-Z has on my jacket.
Shut up. What jacket?
And this picture of the jacket that nigga had at CVS tried me over.
Nigga, I thought you meant like your jacket, like a Kid Fury jacket.
Nigga. The off-white jacket that nigga thought I stole. Yeah. Well, it looks like it. Anyways.
Every time you say off-white, I think you mean the
like
color.
The color.
No, I don't know fashion.
That's fine.
But it's okay.
Yeah, hopefully this does some actual good. I'm all about...
I'm not holding my breath.
Negroes. I'm not, but I'm all about Negroes having spaces in here to do what needs to be done and say what needs to be said. But the NFL is a mighty white bitch. And girl, we'll see.
Capitalists, you know, everybody involved is a capitalist. So adjust your expectations. There are no heroes.
So, as the Queen Radio correspondent, I'm going to just let you go ahead. Because when I tell you that I don't care about... Has Trina gone live? Let's check.
I've been checking. No, I was actually just now about to look like somebody let me know. Somebody tagged me. I don't think she has, though. That video she put out, I was like, I don't know why you bitches keep trying her.
Let me just start with that. First of all, okay. So Trina's A&R posted some shit on Instagram calling Nicki Minaj like a manipulator and a deceiver and saying he feels sorry for the Barbs because she's not supporting or promoting Baps, the song that Trina and Nicki Minaj are on together on Trina's latest album, The One. They were supposed to shoot a video. He said that she's not answering Trina's calls, and he mad because she released Megatron on the same day as Trina's album, and now she's, shooting videos with Mega the Stallion for some songs she just did or whatever. All I feel about that is, why is Trina not saying this? You're not her publicist. You're not her manager. You're her A&R, for whatever that means in 2019. Right. Everybody's technically an A&R at this goddamn point. But you're not in the position, in my opinion, to be speaking for her on some shit like that, especially if you're going to be starting drama between her and another artist. Trina has never been someone, for all of the years I fanned for this woman, who has an issue speaking out for herself or saying what the fuck she want to say. If that lady got an issue, she will say it if it needs to be said. So I don't know why. I
honestly didn't think he was trying to speak for Trina. I thought he was just expressing his own opinion.
Why?
But
you don't need it.
Right, because you mentioned your association with Trina in it, which means you brought her into it for no damn good reason. And honestly, it felt unnecessary. You're not the artist here, so why are your feelings being exposed?
You are literally being described as Trina's A&R because that's what you do.
I can tell you his name right now if you put a gun to my face.
You are a representative of this woman. So what you do represents her. Yeah. My nigga, where are you at?
Right.
If that lady got beef, if she got a problem, she can speak for her motherfucking self, which is exactly what she said on Instagram and promised to go live, and she hasn't since. And so
I'm about to tweet and ask.
But at the end of the motherfucking day, I'm team Trina regardless. I don't give a fuck what time it is, and y'all bitches better already know that.
They said no. She has not gone live yet.
Okay, she clearly hasn't. That's fine. I mean, I feel like we would know.
Right. I mean, I think I have my Instagram notifications on for her and Beyonce and literally no one else. So.
It would literally say, Trina is gone live. Trina Rockstar.
Right.
I've got nothing. So calm down, girl.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck nothing about this. Because at the end of the day, I'm rocking with the baddest bitch.
Right.
And I love Nicki Minaj's music as well. And whatever the fuck is going on, ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care.
Okay.
But I'm team Trine.
Say. If for no other reason than Trina, as long as she has been out, don't never have shit with people unless they try her first. So
even the ones that do try her get dust more often than not.
Right.
So if my bitch got an issue, let it be known it's not for nothing.
Right. And that's what makes me feel like if Trina goes live and is like, yeah, I'm annoyed with Nicki Minaj for XYZ reasons, then I'm automatically going to be on her side. You're right. Especially because Trina has a reputation of being the Monica of rap. And Nicki has a reputation for starting shit and being in the middle of shit and instigating and carrying shit on and all that.
All I know is my bitch Katrina has shown her love continuously. On a song, not on a song, seeing you, not seeing you. She shows her love. She's defended her in interviews that ain't got nothing to do with Nicki Minaj. This bitch ain't just gonna come out the woodworks and just be pissed because she ain't in a video.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't heard her say anything about Nicki Minaj
Still waiting on her to go live.
So this shouldn't even be going the fuck on.
But I was listening to Queen Radio as I do.
I'm sure you were.
And she talked about this A&R who, said whatever about her on Instagram, but she didn't really go into it at that moment. And I know she went back later and talked about it more, but at that point, I think we had a meeting, so I had to cut Queen Radio off. So I missed all that part, but when I tuned in, she was cussing Joe Budden out.
I was on Twitter. I didn't listen to it, but I was on Twitter and I saw, scrolling down one of my lists or whatever, Joe Budden joins Nicki Minaj at Queen Radio. And the first thing I thought to myself was, I didn't know they were cool. You know, I didn't think that there would be issues with one another.
Cool.
But I figured if he's going up there, then they must be cool and they're going to, you know, do like a podcast mashup or whatever. Nope. And then Alex going to call me talking about some, are you listening to Queen Radio? I said, Alex, why would I be doing that?
You know better than that.
Like, why are you even asking me that question? You know I'm not listening to it.
You know I'm not.
Oh my gosh, she's yelling at Joe Biden and blah, blah, blah. By the time she told me that and I went back to Twitter, there were audio clips. And all I heard was, you dumb fuck, you dumb fuck, you dumb fuck. Explosion, explosion, air horn, cut his mic off, suck my dick. And like...
She was being ridiculous. So, I mean, and that is what Queen Radio is. That is why we tune in, for the fucking fuckery. We love that shit. That's why I love Queen Radio. People ask me all the time
break down for me why it's fun. Why do you love it?
Well... So, because first of all, most people with that big of a name, platform, success are not willing to drop down and get into the messy Instagram-ish bullshit.
Or a Fendi fact, as they say now.
I'm just, okay, sure.
Yep.
Don't even get what that means, but all right.
I don't know. She says it.
So yeah, most people on Nicki's level would never act like this. So it's entertaining to see somebody who has earned her place, not acting like she hasn't. Acting like she's one of these regular ass girls. And then it's funny because usually she's going off on people that I already don't like or don't know any damn way. Like with this whole Joe Budden situation, that shit was just funny. And she was yelling at him because I guess he said something about Nicki didn't know that Cardi was going to be on Motorsport beforehand. Like, I guess he said that publicly.
He talks about Cardi B?
Well, no, she never said Cardi's name, but she brought Joe on. And what she said after he stormed out like the second time was that she brought him on thinking they were going to have a conversation about it. He was going to be like, yeah, my bad. I was wrong. I lied on you. Peace. Like, my bad. And they was just going to move on. But Joe refused to acknowledge the fact that he did say that over and over. And so she just kept getting more frustrated and being like, no, cut his mic off, so that she could just yell. And I said, I live for that shit. And then she got into his ass talking about you have an issue with women and you react a certain way when women are successful and you don't like it, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, you might as well keep on preaching.
We don't care about that.
Like, I love this dumb shit. So many people hit me up like, bitch, now I see why you like Queen Radio. Because she goes fucking nuts. And it don't make no sense. And it's entertaining.
While simultaneously...
It's messy. It's
fun. Simultaneously trying to steer this narrative in the direction of, I'm just having a good time. I don't care about this stuff.
Oh, yeah. She swears up and down. People think because I'm yelling, I'm not mad. Girl, you were mad at Joe Budden, sis. You were screaming at that nigga. But she swears, I'm just from New York. It's just how we talk. And it's like, but sis, you're literally yelling at the top of your lungs at this nigga and calling him a dumb fuck and a stupid bitch and telling him to shut the fuck up.
I don't want to see
I would hate to see you incensed, girl. I really would.
I guess mad for you is just murder.
But see, I'm not a barb. I'm a fan of Nicki, but I'm not a barb, which means I don't have to take everything she says at face value. She can swear up and down that she ain't really mad. She don't really care about all this. And she could say that she's all about uplifting Black girls and anti-bullying while doing the exact opposite. None of that affects me because I am literally only here for the mess.
I don't know. As someone who I feel like Nicki's such a talent and like so great.
That's why it don't make sense.
And it just doesn't. And I understand like being human and not liking when people say dumb shit about you or shit that's not true, I'm sure, and stuff that's not true or whatever. But it's like, my nigga, there's a way to do certain things and a way to defend yourself. And like literally the only people who live for this are the Barbs and you. And like, you know, the Barbs, Nicki could douse a fresh baby in gasoline and throw that motherfucker in a pit of fire and they would go up.
They would be like, the baby deserved it.
And the people who don't like you for nothing are gonna not, you could cure cancer and they would still fucking hate you.
Right.
So like all of the caterwauling and all of the goddamn fucking shit, bitch, we don't need it. It doesn't matter. Nobody fucking cares. It's not that fucking deep. Nigga, they told Beyonce she didn't have her baby. They tried to tell that bitch after miscarriages that she didn't carry her own baby. To this day.
People will be like, nah, look at the screenshot. Look at the screenshot. Like, girl, we saw her bare naked stomach. Please cut the shit.
She said nothing. I'm sure she had so many friends and family members that were on go. I'm ready to cut this writer, that writer, this blogger and journalist. Anybody could die today. Nothing.
You know what she did? She put it in her documentary and sold it to HBO. I have to stand.
She didn't even really. Did she say anything about it?
She was just like, it was like a couple of sentences where she was like, I knew the internet was fucking crazy when they swore up and down that I did not actually carry my child. That was like the most ridiculous bullshit of my life. And that was it. That was in Life is But a Dream.
Listen.
Girl. I don't know why Nikki does it, but I love being entertained. It comes with my Apple Music subscription. And so, well, you are in the minority. The rest of us love this shit. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, my nigga.
I guess.
Maddie came on.
Oh, yeah, I did see that Maddie was on there.
Fun.
And I love that because I know that she said maybe on the last one that she wanted to have Maddie on, and I only knew that because I follow Maddie and I saw when she mentioned it. So I'm glad that she followed through and had her up there.
Yeah.
What did they talk about?
You know, Nikki being a bad bitch, the baddest bitch, that bitch.
So they talked about Nikki.
Yeah, I mean, well, Maddie did. Maddie stand a lot, which is fine. Like she said, I'm a fucking Nicki Minaj stand. Like I'm a bar bitch.
I mean,
so
well,
I be keeping up with your ass. She mentioned that Nikki seemed super happy with her rapist fiance and all this. Of course, she didn't say that. Those are my words. But you know, but I'm a fan of Maddie, and so it was entertaining for me to hear the two of them interact. I thought it was really cute or whatever.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was nice enough. But I tune in for the ridiculousness and I get it every time.
I think that it's cool to have this radio show, especially a celebrity of that level where you can play your own music and play other people's music.
And she frequently
and like
plays her own music.
I mean, sure.
She looped Hot Girl Summer about 6 times. I was like, this song is not this long, girl.
I think it's predicted to enter the top 10.
It's already number 10.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So congratulations, Megan and Nikki, and Ty Dolla $ign, I guess you're here too.
Which, I didn't. I mean,
I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, I don't actually love Hot Girl Summer. And that's weird for me because I generally like, if I don't love, I usually like most things. But Hot Girl Summer just didn't do it for me. I think it was really the production more than anything else.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more. The production. And you can tell it's like a record that was done for whatever. And Nikki and Megan connected and it was like, I'll jump on this or whatever. So like the hype around it is the fact that Nikki and Megan are collaborating, but the song and the production of the song itself doesn't really match the moment.
Right. And see, I don't really care about the fact that they're collaborating. Like that's great for Megan and honestly great for Nikki, but
it's really equal. If we're being honest.
I would say the same. But I'm leaving it alone. That's fine. But as for me, I'll be looking forward to Fever coming out, whatever the Fever video, the Hype Williams thing is.
Oh, that's still not out.
It's still not out, and I know it's soon, but I'm waiting.
Talking about Tina Snow too.
But she was just filming the Cash Shit video, so I anticipate that coming out within the next week, and I can't wait because Cash Shit is one of my favorites on Fever.
I know. I just...
Don't, friend.
I just wish... And I guess I hope that she gets to a place where she can be a little less fazed by commentary from certain people. Because I heard she was talking about Charlemagne.
Oh, yeah. She said Charlemagne was one of the reasons that. So, she has these moments where she makes everybody kind of stroke her ego and back her up.
That's all Queen Radio is. It's her busting a nut.
Mostly, yeah. And I love it. But niggas was like, it just seemed like for a minute, and Maddie brought it up too. Like, it just seems like for a minute, everybody was on the Nikki hate train, blah, 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 and this.
That's
she was
not
like,
a thing.
And that's Charlemagne, because Charlemagne had one of my exes on, which of course was Safari, and that was when Safari spilled all that tea about Nikki. She was like, I couldn't even really speak on it because I was in another relationship. But
Safari was not going to control your narrative. We never took that nigga seriously.
We did not care.
When he was bringing you your hot wing orders
we did not
and
care.
pop locking in the back of your videos, we never took that nigga seriously. We don't take him seriously now.
Right.
The most positive shit that the internet had to say about Safari is when his dick leaked, because that was
was beautiful.
I don't have nothing negative to say about it.
And niggas like his olive oil or whatever he sells.
Oh my God, he really... Coconut oil.
Because he rubs himself down in it. He's got a great body.
I mean, you had to know.
And we use Safari gifts, but we don't really care.
But nobody was like, oh my God. Nobody with sense anyway.
Right.
Was like, oh my goodness, Safari has completely reshaped the way that I think about Nicki Minaj. Charlemagne is completely in charge of the way that I think about things. Like, people gonna like you, people not gonna like you.
Right.
You already have a ridiculous amount of people who will follow you into Hades.
Yeah.
You still chart. You still, like, people are still excited to hear verses from you.
They are.
Regardless of what you talk about, who you fucking, what you post, whatever the fuck.
Queen.
So, like, this like journey to like control this narrative about you that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And to me, it's exhausting. There's only so much I could take from it. And that is why I ignore Queen Radio. Ever since the Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth and fucking Shirley Chisholm and whoever the fuck else, I just been like, you know what's not for me? Queen Radio. But I listen to your records.
I love that shit.
Whatever
I would rather
album is
listen
coming
to Queen
out.
Radio than her. I mean,
you would rather listen to Queen Radio than her albums?
Are we talking about Queen? I would rather listen to Queen Radio than Queen.
Than a Nicki Minaj album, period.
I would rather listen to Queen.
Rephrase. You would rather listen to Queen Radio than a body of Nicki Minaj work?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I would.
I would actually like to know how many of you out there agree with that. Because I'm flabbergasted.
I'm about to look up her discography just to make
Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded.
Hated that.
Then the Pink Print.
The Pink Print
Queen.
is the one. So Pink Print, I may listen to over Queen Radio. I did like Pink Print. The rest
I
of
think
them.
Queen is better than the Pink Print.
Oh, no, I do not share that view.
The Pink Print had like so many highs and so many lows.
I mean, the lows on the Pink Print were so low.
Whereas I feel like the lows on Queen Radio aren't so low, are not as low to me as the Pink Print. Because the Pink Print has songs that I like hate. Whereas the Queen has like songs I don't really care for.
Okay.
But that's just, again, my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, no, Grand Piano is on Pink Print, and we frequently tout that as being one of the worst songs in the world. But overall, it is my favorite body of Nicki's work. And
that's fair. It's great songs on there.
And so, if you made me choose between the Pink Print and Queen Radio, I mean, I don't know. It's probably a 50-50 toss-up, just depending on the day.
I recognize that there's the Queen Radio antics is definitely great for a lot of people. The Barbs, as I said, get a lot of fun out of it, and they're living for her, speaking up for herself and defending herself and talking about people. Like, I think that she makes a lot of points. Like the shit that she said, I saw today about her talking about Rick Ross on some record that he said, he mentioned her, which I didn't even know about, but he said something about, I told Meek I wouldn't trust Nicki or something like that. And that was like 2017, apparently, that record was out.
Oh, okay.
So she's definitely been holding her tongue on some shit that she's been feeling for a while, and that's cool. My whole thing is like, we'll see how much this changes public opinion on Nicki Minaj.
I don't think Charlamagne really had anything.
It willn't.
Like, I really don't think, I mean, Charlamagne is a huge name out here. Yes, he has a massive platform. But I don't think people were deciding to hate Nicki Minaj because of Safari being on The Breakfast Club.
Bruh.
Honestly, all the times that I had something critical to say about Nicki were because of Nicki's own direct actions.
The things that they said were said prior to that.
I don't care about Safari talking about you being a bitch and unreasonable and whatever. Girl, I don't give a shit about
I don't care about you being a bitch.
We already had the conversation about the pickle juice, girl. We know, and it's fine. I don't care about that. It's when you target harassment towards people because they disagreed with you or they don't like what you have to say, or when you make fun of
black girl tragic
that
shit.
Black girl tragic.
Like, what are we doing?
Girl, what are you doing, Nicholas? It's just like, girl, that don't. I'm not. That is the bullshit, okay? Making fun of black girls, picking people out and calling them ugly because they said they don't like your song or whatever. It's just like, sis.
All I know is, honey, I think that she is desperate for more people, I guess, to lay down and die for all that she's done. I don't know if she wants like a literal marble like statue to be erected in the middle of Queen somewhere that is just Nicki Minaj and that ass. I don't know what it's going to take, but it's like at the end of the day, the motherfuckers that ride for you and that are fans for you, like especially the ones that call themselves Barbs and all of their profile photos are
niggas.
you.
Yeah.
And they will literally like kill for you. Like, you're super good. And you have enough of them that you good. Like, even if you were to be, like, blackballed or so, like, I don't know, like, whatever.
Right.
Shit. Mama, you've always got pride. Let me tell you something. If 20 years from now, like, you ain't recording no new music or whatever, honey, you can exist solely going to Pride in the Club. You have a fan base that will be loyal to you and will literally curse motherfuckers out for you at Shady Pines. Do you understand that you will die good, bitch? Like, I don't understand what more it's going to take.
She doesn't. Honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to diagnose Nicki or nothing, but she seems like the type of person who hyper focuses on the negative. Like, because
which is easy.
It's easy to do.
Because we are human.
Right. And she says that a lot. And she's like, you know, people can say whatever they want to a celebrity, but when a celebrity says something back, it's bullying. It's not. And I mean, I'm sure people do accuse her of being a bully. I don't think Nicki's a bully. I think she's insecure and she lets that out when most celebrities do not.
I agree.
I think that's more of the issue there. Because when you get to a place where you are totally secure in yourself and who you are and your worth and what you're putting out there, then the voices of, you know, the overwhelming minority, they have less and less importance to you.
Like, you know,
Nicki certainly receives way more love than she does hate. Like, girl, you make more and more money all the fucking time. Like, sis,
you have a new verse out every week.
The proof is right there in your money.
Like, I'm not sure what I'm missing. But
you know, and until she decides to get a therapist and work on that shit, I will be tuning in and loving Queen Radio.
Nicki is a barb is a barb is a barb. You know, she's like, like the Barbs and Nicki are one. They've got like this like pink rap Voltron thing going on. And so they love her cussing niggas out and yelling. She loves that they love it and it's going to continue. And I'm all good as long as the music sounds good. But I'm not about to sit up here and act like I give a fuck about her yelling at motherfuckers talking about some stuff that people have talked about forever any goddamn way. Many of it is accurate. And the stuff that isn't accurate is so irrelevant to the bigger picture anyway that it really doesn't even need... It's not even that it doesn't need to be discussed. Because again, I'm all for standing up for yourself. I'm all for defending yourself and that stuff. But there's a way. Like, I don't know if you need like a petty person to come in and be like, this is how we finna cuss this bitch out today, bitch. With like tact. Because she's clearly freestyling this shit. Because I heard that Black China interview and I heard like there isn't much like actual planning as much as there is Nicki Minaj going into the studio that is lit up pink, being gorgeous, playing Nicki Minaj music and talking about how great Nicki Minaj is. And that's great. But it could be like fantastic or sensible, you know, or non-existent.
But until listen, don't mistake me tuning in for entertainment for me giving a damn. I tune in because I know I'm going to be entertained and I'm going to have a jolly good time while
it's like you're trying to fight the opinions of 13-year-olds. Like, do you know that a lot of these people are children?
And even if they're not, girl, they're literally insignificant and mean nothing to your life.
If they are 30-something, 40-something in your mansions talking about drugs you do and who you fucking whatnot, you really shouldn't give a fuck about their goddamn opinion. Because what are you doing?
Girl, you better go clock in somewhere and leave me alone. I don't know how she doesn't look at it that way.
I don't know, like, my nigga.
Therapy is really everything, y'all. It's everything.
I'll take what we can get. You know what I mean? I felt, and I feel like I've said before, that she never should have given a fuck about the Cardi B shit anyway. You know that girl does not write her raps. You know that you've been working far longer than you do. And I believe that you look at rapping as an artist rather than as a lick. I don't know why you can't, like...
it don't matter no more.
It's not that I don't know why you care. Because I understand, Carrie, I don't know why you are committing so much of your energy to like dumb shit. Cardi B, in my opinion, having a great time will likely sooner than later be like, I don't want to do this shit no more.
And now
I made
good
enough
and rich.
money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm good. I'm waiting for that day to come. And I'm not a fan of Cardi B. I enjoy loads of Cardi B music and stuff like that. But I just feel like we are forgetting that there are loads of people out here who are looking at like this stuff with sense, right? With common sense, at least, and acknowledging what's going on. I don't know what else is needed.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's not. Yelling in my goddamn ear on Apple Music.
Well, I will be tuning in though, Nikki. Can't wait for the next episode of Queen Radio. Nikki, I just want you to know, I'm not letting this negativity affect me at all, girl. I will be tuned the fuck in, sis. Thank you so much.
Well, somebody's got to know what's going on with that bitch when we come in here.
Woo, hallelujah. All right. Is that it?
Yep, that's it for whatever I called it, Hot Tops this week. Hold on, I'm picking it up.
Pee-wee
I write
Herman
it down all the time.
And the big red bottom. No,
Pee-wee's Big Adventurous Bottom.
God damn you. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Hey, y'all, with more than 70 sizes, including their signature half-cup sizes, Third Love designs bras with breast size and shape in mind for a perfect fit and premium feel. That's why I love them so much. To get started, all you got to do is answer a few simple questions via their Fit Finder quiz to find your perfect fit in 60 seconds. Then, thanks to Third Love's 100% fit guarantee, you can wear, wash, and put your bra to this test for 60 days, girl. That is 2 whole months. If you don't love it, just return it, and Third Love will wash it and donate it to somebody in need of a bra. That is so great. See, so it's like literally zero risk for you, sis. This is hands down the most comfortable bra you will ever own, with straps that won't slip, tagless labels, and lightweight, super thin memory foam cups. Y'all know how much I despise having these big old titties. Like, they're quite annoying. Being a 38 triple D is just like the bane of my existence. But the Third Love bra is the one bra that I can wear all day long without like wanting to violently rip it off the moment I get inside a car or my own home. So they definitely doing something over there for me and the big old titty committee. Third Love knows there is a perfect bra for everybody. So right now they're offering y'all 15% off your first order. Just go to thirdlove.com/read now to find your perfect fitting bra and to get 15% off your first purchase. Again, thirdlove.com/READ for 15% off today. Let them know Crystal sent you. Let's get back to the show.
And we're back to the show with a very special guest.
That's right. You know, here on the podcast, we only bring on people we actually want to talk to.
Ouch.
It's called the Stevie J rule. And I am so honored and excited to have the incredible Bassey Ikpi here in the studio with us today. Give Bassey a round of applause.
Yay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So I first heard of you on Twitter. That's where I first met you or whatever. Right. And
same.
Your posts about mental health and your own struggles with your own mental illness were like huge for me, because I don't think I had ever been exposed to anybody being that open about struggling in that way before.
Yeah.
So for me, I just want to say this before we get started. You definitely paved the way for me as far as getting to a place where I can talk to anybody else about the shit that I'm going through, much less get on the show and have a whole segment where I, expose my vulnerabilities to the mean ass internet. So I just want to say thank you so much, because your bravery was life changing for me.
Oh, that means so much to me.
Well, I mean, you have done such huge things, and you have this book coming out. Tell the people what it's called. I love the title, and how you got started with writing it, and a bit about who you are, all that good stuff.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I love what you guys do. I love the fact that you guys bring the mental health conversation to an audience that usually probably wouldn't seek it out on their own. I think that's very, very important.
Right.
But yeah, so my book is called I'm Telling the Truth, But I'm Lying. It's a collection. It's a collection of essays, but I consider them nonfiction short stories, because I was very careful about the way that I told the stories. I wanted people to understand what some of these words like depression and mania and anxiety, we hear them all the time, and people have a list of symptoms, but people don't really understand what that means. So what I wanted to do, and what I did do, I hope, is that I told these stories about things that I've gone through and the way that depression and hypomania and anxiety shows up in my life, but in a way that makes sure that the reader is in the middle of it and feels it too. Is very important for me to make it so that the reader isn't able to escape the thing. Because a lot of the problems that we have, I think that we have when talking about mental illness, is that people can distance themselves from it, and they can say, well, I've never felt that. I've never wanted to kill somebody. I've never wanted to do this or that. But it's like, well, you have felt as though all your friends are suddenly mad at you. You have felt like you couldn't sleep, and all these things and all these thoughts are running around in your head. So I wanted to put people in the middle of those conversations. Like when someone says, I can't sleep, what is actually happening in your brain when they say that? And so that's what the book is. It's just a collection of these stories about my personal life, but documenting this thing that so many of us experience.
Yeah. And I just feel like the impact goes so much further than what we even know, because so many people who are hearing about these conversations don't know or aren't ready to admit to themselves that they are even struggling with anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a line from the book that really stuck with me. I think it was, imagine if you don't fit in anywhere, not even in your head.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, goddamn, why don't you just slap me across the face? Because that describes so much of my struggles with mental illness. Was like, before I could put a name to it, it felt like I'm frustrated all the time.
Yeah.
Like, even when I'm just sitting alone by myself, it's like I'm low-key annoyed, I'm irritated, I'm frustrated, and I do not know what's wrong with me. And I did not realize that meant something was going on with my mental health. It was like, damn, so you really do take these experiences that feel more universal than people even know and put them into this book in a way that is just so beautiful and heartbreaking in the best ways. And it is just so well done.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're everything. So I thought what we would do today is have like an extended Crystal's Couch basically interview with you, where we go through the inbox and talk about some of the questions relating to therapy and mental health, and see if we can help these people. Again, none of us are licensed practitioners. This is simply our own experiences being reflected back to you. Hashtag disclaimer.
We're not doing any crazy Iyanla activities.
Right. Yeah. We're not cradling any of you in our bosoms. Yes. But when you talk about therapy, you have to let people know, again,
you have to be very
this
clear.
Does not substitute your own relationship with a qualified mental health provider.
Hopefully it'll inspire you to go seek something out, but it doesn't replace it.
Not at all. Ooh, girl, not
Just
at all.
for clarity.
Yeah.
So our first question is about knowing when to move on, basically, from a situation that may have been toxic or unhealthy for you. So the first question that we have here is about therapy and how it may affect your friendships. This one comes from Tiana. She says, after being in therapy for several years, do you feel like it has affected your friendships with your friends who are not seeking or willing to grow? How do you manage conversations with topics that may be triggering or controversial around these people? Thanks. Love you, Tiana. Do you feel like being in therapy has affected your relationships, like the way you talk to other people? Have you run into situations where people seem like they're not really willing or able to hear what you're saying?
Like
100%.
How does therapy and then journey in, bettering your mental health affect the way you communicate with toxic people? Is the question. Like, I'm trying to get.
I mean, I don't even think necessarily they're toxic people. I think it's just people who, are you inherently toxic if you're not willing to grow?
Well, I have a problem with calling people toxic. I think that situations are toxic.
That's fair.
There's time and place that's toxic, but I think that everyone has the capacity, and this is my Pollyanna, over empathetic, ass, but I feel like everybody has the potential to be a better person, no matter what, except for one particular person who I can, fuck him forever. But there are certain people I feel like everybody has the potential to be better. But when it comes to therapy, especially when you're doing well and you're emotionally well, it makes it very difficult for you to speak to people who are determined not to be well. Because at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself.
Right.
If I want to be a better person and I know the things that are healthy for me and the choices that I need to make to be healthy and the conversations that I need to have and the boundaries I need to set for myself in order to keep myself safe.
Yes.
If there are people who are doing their best to disrupt that for whatever reason, and they could have valid reasons for themselves, it's best to remove yourself from the situation. Right. It's best to say, I love you. I sound like Karamo, but I love you. I want you to be well, but I choose myself over whatever's going on with you. I will be here when you're ready to do the work and to be, and to at least respect the work that I've done. Because no one has the right to show up and disrupt the work that you've done on yourself. Ooh. Nobody has the right to do that. So it's not, I think a lot of people feel bad about like cutting people off. And I think that there's a way to do so kindly and the way to do that with as much love as possible. But knowing that you have to have more love for yourself and saying, this is not okay for me. I've had to cut off people that I love dearly because they didn't understand who I was as a healthy person. They only knew me as someone who needed something, someone who was always potentially breaking or broken. And that's not healthy for me. I don't need the constant reminder that I wasn't okay at some period in the past, you know?
Right.
So that choice is ultimately what's best for you. And then what's best for you. And you know when you're doing something that's good for you as opposed to just being a fucking asshole. Like, you know. And once you determine this is what's best for me, you have to push people away in order to continue being healthy.
What do you think causes like the apprehension within people when it comes to basically making that statement of I have to do what's best for me, or I choose myself over what's going on here? Because I feel like we get so many letters from people who are in situations where that's exactly what they need to do, but they are afraid to because of, I guess, this assumption or this feeling that either it's not going to go well, or they'll be perceived as like a bad person or a mean person for saying that, when, like you just said, you can do it kindly. It doesn't have to be like, fuck you, you're the worst, I hate everything about you. You know what I'm saying? Get out of my life. You can very kindly just be like, I can't do this. Like, this is outside of my boundaries. I can't handle this, but I can be available if and when you're ready to like do the work and meet me where I'm at. Yeah. Why do you think that so many people are afraid to have that conversation?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. I think that number one, we've always been taught that selfishness was inherently bad, which I don't think we put this connotation on it that doesn't really exist. Right. Selfishness is a thing that exists. It is you take care of yourself before you take care of other people. That's what you're taught, you know, when it comes to like, you know, what plane wrecks or whatever, put your mask on first. But that's not something that feels good to other people because we've been taught that to think of yourself is there's something wrong with that. Right. But on another point, I don't feel like it's necessary to tell people that. I think it's necessary to exist in that way. I don't have to tell you, I think you're toxic and you're terrible and you're making me feel bad. So I don't want, that's mean. That's not kindness. Right. But if I'm pulling back, like I have friendships where every time they want to talk to me about something that we spoke about last time that they didn't do anything about the last time. Right. So now the conversation doesn't get to take place anymore. Oh, girl, I got to talk to you. Okay, cool. What's up? The same thing we talked about last time. There's no response there because we've already had this conversation. And to protect myself and my sanity, I can't keep having that same conversation with you. Right. I will give you my therapist's phone number.
Go off.
You know, we can figure out someone else you can talk to because clearly you don't want my help and you don't want to feel better about the situation. You want me to feel bad with you. And I'm making the decision not to do that. Right. But I don't have to tell you that. Yeah. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. Oh, every time I bring up A, you know, she doesn't respond. Yes. Right. Stop bringing up A.
Fair enough.
I mean, and as somebody who was a lifetime people pleaser until probably a year ago, it was like impossible for me to say something like that. It was impossible for me to draw any kind of boundaries at all. Yeah. If somebody needed me, then they just needed me and that was that. Yeah. Like I just was not capable of being like, I can't hear whatever bullshit you're talking about, the exact same terrible story for the sixth time.
Yeah. And it also comes with what you were saying before. It also comes with this idea of not wanting to be forgotten. Because if somebody needs you and needs you to fix their problems or just to hear them out, if you choose not to do that, you kind of feel like maybe you're not going to be worthy to them anymore. And that's when it comes into, okay, if you only need me when it's something that takes a toll on me to help you with, then what kind of friendship is that? It's all about like reassessing all the relationships. And one of the best and worst things about getting mentally well or prioritizing your mental health is that it does reveal to you who the people in your life really are. Mm-hmm. It does reveal to you because I know for a fact there are people that I just don't talk to anymore because they are much more comfortable with a broken version of me. Yeah. They're much more comfortable with me, like not being okay. They're much more comfortable with being the one that's like, well, you know, poor her. Yeah. At least I. Yeah. And they do that. And once you recognize that, you don't want to be around that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, no.
When you know better, you do better. But when you know better, you
Facts.
also see better.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. And like, I need me. The rest of y'all might not ever need me, but I always will.
Yeah.
I am always going to need me.
Yeah.
Like that idea of parenting yourself. And if you think about it as like parenting your inner child and making that a priority in your life.
Yeah.
Because that person is you. And that person deserved all the love and consideration that you constantly pouring into every damn body else.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier to be like, you know what? I can't, because like my inner child can't handle this shit right now. Like she has shit to do, so we gotta go.
And the inner child that felt neglected when they weren't needed or weren't wanted in some way needs to learn that you are just as worthy without being leaned on in that way.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that all of us have this subtle, sometimes not, fear of being discovered as not necessary, right? So discovering that someone can live without you, and then putting yourself in these uncomfortable positions because you don't want to experience knowing that somebody else can live without you, without knowing that you can live without that person too, and doing what you need to make sure you can take care of yourself in that way.
That's like a hammer on the head of so many nails. Like that can be said about so many different kinds of people. And I think that also like a lot of times when we do the thing of constantly putting up with certain things or being there for certain types of people and situations out of this desire to feel valued by this person or whatever, you'll realize after doing it 300 times and then taking a step back that they never really saw the value in you anyway.
Right.
Like you're saying, they like having like this broken version of you or having this person that can be there for the broken version of them and feel bad together and like lift them up in the moments where they feel bad. And then when you step back, it's like, oh, I haven't heard from you in like a solid year, 2 years. Like,
but then when you think about it, as soon as you make that decision to choose yourself, all of a sudden you were never there.
Right.
Oh, I can never count on you. Oh, you have never. Oh, word. Okay. Never.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Because they don't remember the last time you were there. They only remember the next time they need you to be there.
And that can affect us so heavily. So it's like there's a lot of training to be done in being able to like take some shit like that and still pick up your pocketbook and punch. You know what I'm saying? And still be like, I know what this is that you're spewing at me right now, and it's not even going to penetrate. I get it. Wish you well, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I'm here when you're willing to do better or whatever. But I'm not even going to let that negativity, because I think also like when you're doing good and feeling good and people around you aren't, they will like try to make you not feel well also.
Right. Yeah.
The more that you seem to be doing really well, people will try to bring you down. And it's very easy to do that as well. Yeah. If people know you and like know buttons to push and stuff. So we got to be able to train, like do well for ourselves also, but also be like unaffected by people who may say things or treat us a certain way in the midst of their own, issues.
Yeah, that's actually one of the worst things about social media. No matter how good you're feeling, there are people who want you to feel bad about feeling good. And that's just dangerous. And I think that it's such a concentrated place for that. But once you're able to like figure it out online, you can figure it out in your real life too. You can see the more subtle ways people take that same approach to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real. I don't really struggle with the whole, like my people pleasing and codependency wasn't really rooted in like a fear of not being needed anymore. Because, I'm a Virgo, we're always needed.
Right.
But it was more like I was worried that the affection or the love or the like for me would be taken away if I didn't pour everything into you. Yeah. And I know that's because I grew up in an environment where affection was withheld if I did something that was considered to be bad or not good enough. Yeah. So I know where that comes from now, but it manifests itself in your adult relationships like in so much of the same way. It really blows your mind when you look at it like, damn, I be picking the same sorry ass niggas over and over because of X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Like it just all falls into place. Yeah. Yeah.
It makes so much sense after you find it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Once you know, it's like, oh fuck, how did I not see that before? Yeah. Because it becomes very clear, but it it's difficult. And I grew up in the same kind of way where you think that your worth is based on the things that you've done.
Yeah, the straight A's.
Right. The good grades. I was telling someone earlier that I was depressed for so long and no one knew because I was a big reader. So I would sit there and read and cry.
Leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
But like when you're a smart Black kid, people are like, "Oh, she's reading, leave her alone." As opposed to like she hasn't left that bedroom for days, but she's reading, so it's okay. Yeah. And we just completely get lost in that.
Yeah, you can isolate yourself as long as you're still smart and grades don't drop and you don't act. You can have all kinds of.
It wasn't until my grades dropped that people were like, "Wait, what's happening?
Something's wrong with her."
What's wrong with
yes,
her?
me too. The exact same. And then
Literally
they were like,
same.
"Okay, what is going on?" Because
my grades were always like dancing all over the place, though. And I know that it is because I lived my whole life depressed.
Yeah.
Because every single teacher told my parents, and this actually frustrated them more than I think making them wonder, okay, well, like, what's going on? All of the teachers told my parents, he is so smart. He's so intelligent. It blows my mind. He just doesn't do any work.
Yeah.
And I would be like, I don't want to. Like, and it's because I always felt very inadequate. I felt, weird and different and just like unworthy of being, like out and about. I just wanted to be in the dark in my own little place for like, I'm talking about K through 12 college, all of the above.
Yeah.
So my parents used to always be going off and still like, I'd still be at home reading books and doing whatever and drawing and doing whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But when it came to schoolwork, like at school, it was a different time because of the environment I was in. It made me feel like I was just lost. And I didn't really discover that it was like a thing until a couple years ago.
Yeah. Therapy has uncovered so much.
Listen, I wish that actual licensed therapists were available to kids, especially the ones that would get in trouble, the ones that wouldn't do the work. Because when you think about it, kids don't want to be bad. They don't want to be in trouble.
Right.
So if a child is not doing the work and you know they're smart, what else is there? Like, why aren't we trying to find the other thing? Like, you can write it on my report card all day, but like, why aren't we trying to find alternatives and trying to find out
we would rather beat you.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll teach you to not be such a fuck up.
Yeah.
Woo. So much.
I mean,
So much.
I always pop into defense mode at this era because I understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being from a different time, a different country, raising kids where, basically, when you're thinking about Jamaicans born in the 50s and 60s and like the upbringing that they had to have, having literally nothing, living in the sticks, coming out here, knowing what time it is, being Black, having the complexion, the skin color that you have and stuff. Oh, there's no time for any of that.
Absolutely.
But you just don't want to do it. We don't care about that.
We don't have time.
So there wasn't really much time or there wasn't much time for wrapping understanding around, oh, well, there is nothing else. So it was like, you're just not doing it.
Yeah, because I got to go to work and I don't want to. I came to this country and I didn't want to. You know what I mean? Like, Nigerian, my parents, I heard and it was another thing that kind of fueled my depression because like, oh my God, my parents literally sacrificed everything and I still can't just be happy. And it's difficult. And I appreciate the generations that come afterwards because I think that the generations are going to be much more prepared. I know for like, I have a oh God, how old is he? I have a 12-year-old son and I watch him like a hawk and I've already started to see things that I saw that I recognized for myself when I was his age and I'm able to jump on as like, let's go talk to somebody. Let's figure out why this is. Cause I know that you don't just not want to do this thing. Cool. But let's find out why you don't want to do it. As opposed to just kind of like letting you get to like 27 and having a full breakdown. And then I'm like, oh, let's do something about it now.
Yeah. Because then you like exist in this household like I did where it's like you can see the frustration and like the disappointment on your parents' faces and stuff like that. And they just don't get it. But it's like, I don't get it either. Yeah. Like, I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to be getting bad grades. I don't want to like have any of this going on. I'd love to be the perfect picture of whatever a child is supposed to to be for you.
Yeah.
So this isn't like a choice that I'm making.
Yeah.
But nobody really had the understanding or the preparation to be like, maybe we have to go in this direction and look at it.
Yeah.
My mother did take me to a therapist when I was about 16 because it was ugly in school at that point. Like, I wasn't doing shit. I was skipping classes and doing all kinds of stuff. Like, I would have been skipping school altogether if I knew that I wasn't going to have death waiting for me at home. So, like, I tried to be sneaky, but eventually when it, like, hit the fan, I was like, I need to talk to somebody because, like, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And so, what now?
Right.
So, my mother went and took me to this white man. I saw him twice, and he said, I think your son might be dyslexic. I think that he may be ADD. And he may have this form of depression, which I don't even think was accurate. But all my mama heard was dyslexic, and she was like, that's it. We're done. We're not going back. Time for some prayer, maybe a little Robitussin, and everything's all good. And I'm 16, and this nigga told me that I was dyslexic. I was like, what the fuck him? You're right, mama. Like, ADD my ass. Like, that's right. Let's pray. Yeah. Like, now I'm 32, and I'm like, nigga, I'm ADD as fuck.
Like, listen, on every report card, every semester, every quarter, I got these great grades, and then in the comments, she will not shut up. Yeah. All she does is fucking talk. And one year, I think it was 5th grade, one of the teachers told my mama, y'all should really get that girl tested for ADD. And my mama was like, my child makes straight A's. I'm not trying to hear that. Like,
right.
Bitch,
like they have anything to do with each other.
Yeah. But now as an adult, I'm like, bitch, do you know how ADD I am?
I'm
like
dying.
It's so bad for me that weed, everybody's like, oh, when I'm on weed, when I smoke weed, I'm lazy and all I do is eat and veg out. I'm like, bitch, weed gets my mind together. Like, when I am high, I'm focused. Yeah. And I can get things done, multiple things at one time, and like be productive in my day. Not all the time, but most of the time. Yeah. And so it's just like, you know, had Ritalin been available to me in the mid-90s, a lot of things may have been different.
When I think about all the ways my life would be different had somebody just noticed at some point that I wasn't okay. I mean, I'm glad to be where I am, whatever. But when I go back and think about all of the things I could have accomplished had somebody at one point just said, hey, we think that perhaps maybe something else going on here. I would have finished college. I would have done a lot of things. I mean, you know, I'm happy to be where I am because I literally walked out of a class and said, I'm going to New York for the weekend, and then I never left. Because I just couldn't take it anymore. So I'm happy to, you know, that some of the recklessness that wasn't, you know, medicated out led me to the life that I have now. But at the same time, some of that recklessness was reckless. And it was just by sheer luck that I'm still alive. Because I did some crazy ass shit.
That could have easily been me. Yeah. Like, it's too many situations I can look back on and say, God damn. Yeah. Like, and it's like, on the one hand, I do understand that my parents and family and the people around us, you know, they came from a certain time. It was Oklahoma. Yeah. You know, they're born in the 50s and 60s and all that. My grandparents, of course, even older and countryer. So, yeah, you know, more strict and stringent in a lot of ways. Like, I was not allowed to go outside and play with the boys if there was not another girl there to play with me.
God, same.
Like, and what the fuck is that?
I remember getting in trouble. I remember getting in trouble because some neighborhood kids had wanted to do a lemonade stand. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And I was in trouble because I was the only girl. And I was like, how is that my fault?
What am I supposed to do?
Like, what am I supposed to do?
My mom was dead serious. Like, my cousins would go, you know, play basketball or whatever. Cousins older and younger than me. And ma would make me stay at home with her and read a book. Yeah. Because it wasn't going to be nothing but boys there. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah. And like, girl, there are going to be so many things, you know, God willing, I don't have no kids. But like, if I did have a family of my own, there are probably going to be so many things that raising a child I'm going to be unprepared for because it's just a different time. I don't know what half of these teenagers are doing talking about now. And I'm not that far removed. You know what I mean? Like Cameo and whatever these new girls are. Yeah. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? At all. But at the same time, I'm just like, you know what? I understand the timing that it was. And I know that like a lot of people before us, they constantly told us how much easier we had it and things like that because of the time and the place that they lived. And I think that that's definitely what shaped a lot of the decisions that they make when it comes to raising kids, child rearing and the like whatnot. But I think that that's why it is important to have conversations like this in this generation with this skin color and shit like that, because it's like nobody's perfect. Nobody makes all of the right decisions, but there just has to be more awareness of these types of things so that we can have an open discussion of it and break some cycles. Because it's like, I'm not about to like take every little thing that my mama and daddy did and said whatever to the grave with me. And like, I'm completely fine with that. Right. I just want for more people to share these stories and like the similarities in them and realize that like we can do better in so many ways as parents, siblings, children, nieces, nephews, cousins, everybody.
Yeah, that's real.
I think one of the reasons that it was really important for me to write this book the way that I wrote it is because there was no getting away from what the point was. And I think so many of us, especially as Black people, we think that in order for people to care about our stories, we have to tie it into other things.
Right.
So it can't just be your story about your life growing up. It can't be just your story about your life growing up. It has to be tied into something socio-political so that white people care too. And if white people care, then, you know, like it can't just be a story about our lives.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the reasons that it's so difficult for us to have these conversations because we don't make it personal. We don't talk about the really gross and ugly and uncomfortable parts of it. One of the things I was on Twitter a couple weeks ago because I have serious dental problems. I'm always trying to get my teeth fixed because there were large stretches of time when I didn't brush my teeth because I didn't want to shower, because I didn't want to get out of bed, because I wanted to die. So if I want to die, what am I brushing my teeth for? You know what I mean? And like, it's stuff like that where I'm like saying in the work, like this is the ugly part. These are the things that are not cute. These are the things that are not, adorable and like, oh, so quirky. Like these are ugly bits of it. And I want people to be able to admit to the ugly bits so that they can get past them.
Right. Yeah. Like somebody has to, because it's like you're not the only person who would have a story was like, look, I wasn't even taking care of myself hygienically or whatever because I just did not give a fuck about my life. But people don't want to like reveal those really ugly, ashy moments that we've gone through out of fear of whatever. Like judgment. When I came out of here and I started talking about being depressed and taking meds and seeing a psychiatrist, I want to let you know, if you didn't already, that I didn't give a fuck what one of y'all had to think about it. Because I'm the only one walking in these feet.
Exactly. 100%. And when people try to like, oh, well, you should be happy because you got A, B, C, and D. Well, I'm not. Therefore, there's a problem.
So what do you want to do about it? There's a serious
problem if I'm not happy about the shit that you're telling me I should be happy about. So let's talk about that.
Like you literally don't live this life. You're not in this body. You're not in this head. You just do not know my life.
Right.
And for the record, like I didn't really get many, and I can't think of any like negative comments that I've ever gotten about sharing my life and dealing with mental health or whatever, but I saw so many people say same. Me too.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, nobody really was talking about this like in my circle, or I never really heard anybody my age discussing this, or Black people or whatever. And I don't think that I ever really did it for that purpose, but more so just to like release it for myself and say it out loud. So I was like, oh, look, I didn't even have to worry about nobody thinking anything about it if I had, because so many people are like, oh my God, thank you for saying this, because also
100%, yeah.
So I'm just glad more people are like saying, look, I'm going to therapy, or I'm taking meds, or I'm depressed with such and such, and I don't care how you feel about it.
Yeah,
because I gotta care how I feel about it.
At the end of the day, you're the only person who has to deal with you.
And then what?
Do we have another like? Because I love how that one email turned into like an overall umbrella of everything.
I mean, we did cover a lot. Let me see if I can. Okay, here is one that switches gears a little bit from Roxy. She says, I just had my third therapy session with my therapist. She's an older white lady who accepts my insurance and lives within walking distance of my house. And so far, race has not been an issue. But I've found myself often saying, it makes me feel guilty to think about this this, and I felt like my therapist has responded well when I say such things, but I would like to know why I feel so guilty. Is this something that my therapist should automatically catch and help me discover? I've never been to therapy before, so I'm not sure if she should be helping me uncover these things or if she should simply be helping bring these things to my attention. Should this be a red flag? Do I need to find another therapist? Love you lots, Roxy.
Well, I'm not sure what Roxy feels guilty about.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'm not.
Well, because she says the phrase she frequently uses the phrase, it makes me feel guilty to think, and so she says this so much in therapy. And now she's thinking, I would like to know why it is I feel so guilty about whatever these things are.
What does that have to do with her race, though?
Yeah.
Well, I think she's just pointing out that.
How many times has she been to the therapist?
This is her third session.
Oh, calm down. No, calm down. It sounds like, that's why I wanted to know, because it sounds like, oh, well, she's not saying this, I should find another therapist. That's just you trying to get out of it. Mm-hmm. Like it's only the third time you've been there. Yeah. Like when people say, well, I want to find a therapist, but I don't go because I'm looking for a 5'3" Black woman who once grew up in Pittsburgh. And then at the age of, like, they want all these things. They're like, no, you got to find one thing. Mm-hmm. Keep going. You can shop around for other ones, but once you go, you have to stick with it. You have to make that commitment. So if this is the third session and your therapist has not yet picked up on why you say I feel guilty, she probably doesn't know you well enough yet.
Right.
So later on, she'll go back to it if she's worth. Her
mine drags me all the time.
You listen, honey. But she has to get to know you. She can't start dragging you session 3 because then you won't come back. Like, exactly. And if you feel like you're saying that you feel guilty, it's your job to bring it up to her. I feel like I say this all the time, and then she'll ask you, when does this come up? Why do you feel that it's a problem? And then she's not a magician.
Right. I was going to say that too.
Her job is to listen, to get what you give her and then work with that as they get to know you. But
I ask my therapist flat out questions. Like 100%. Flat out questions. Sometimes she, a lot of times she enlightens me on things I would have never even thought to discuss or ask. But a lot of times I'm like, okay, so my question of the week, or here's what I want to know blank.
Yeah.
And she can help me figure out that. But like, you just, basically explain that perfectly. If it's the third session, like, she's still getting to know you. I was probably a little over a year in with my therapist, psychiatrist, who was like, I feel like I definitely learned a lot, but I think that we really got into the groove of one another and started to sort of like be able to just pick up on certain things without having to wonder about a year, because you're still getting to know somebody who's getting to know you. And like I told, first of all, 2 things. First therapist that I had was a Black woman, because I did want to have a Black woman as my psychiatrist first, like I said. And I feel like I've mentioned it on the show, but I saw her twice before I went to who I'm seeing now, because I felt like I felt dissected and like studied more with her than like empathy. And mind you, again, I was going to see a psychiatrist because my grandmother had just died and I just didn't know what to do with life. Like everything that I was dealing with mentally, emotionally, that was negative, like all my life, was on 20. So I needed someone to be like, we're going to get you through this, girl.
Yeah.
And she wasn't bad, but I just didn't really feel comfortable there.
Right.
So I went and saw someone else. I'm just saying, like, I get why you might want to have like a specific type of person helping you, but you gotta,
when you need that help, you gotta get the help.
She takes your insurance and she lives within walking distance of your house.
Yeah.
So for those 2 reasons alone, I'm like, I would stick with it past this third session.
Like I said, I went to a therapist when I was 16 twice. And he was like, oh, your baby got dyslexia and ADD or whatever. Never saw him again. And besides the fact that my mama was upset, I was offended myself. I said, this man don't know me. So like, I agree. Give the lady a chance.
Yeah. I was very fortunate that with my therapist here in New York, I clicked with her immediately. And I think she definitely did have to learn me. Like, we've been seeing each other for well over a year now. And so she has helped me through like the immediate trauma I was going through. And then she's helped me unpack all this other bullshit that I did not know was an issue in my life.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're like this,
Yeah.
It's like, that bitch knows me better than a lot.
Now she can say, because you be like.
One time she said to me, blame and fault finding aren't pastimes. And I was like, I was stuck.
wish I had a leg to stand on to coach you out.
Right.
But
I
I don't.
wanted to be like, bitch, you don't know my fucking life. But she actually literally does. And she knows that blame and fault finding are indeed my pastimes, and that I am my number one target for both of those things. I'm constantly looking for reasons to blame myself or find things that are wrong with me so that I can continue to punish myself for not being a good enough whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when she said that, I was literally stuck for like a solid, like could not speak. I don't even think I blinked. It was just like, I've never heard this sentiment before.
Yeah.
And you might have just fucked my whole world up. Like,
and it takes
you challenged me as a person. Yeah.
And she's probably still trying to get to know you too. Cause like, I know if I walked into a therapy session and I said something for the first time and the therapist was like, well, first of all, you need to stop. Well, bitch, I don't know you. We just met. Like, you can't come at me like
yourself.
that. So she needs to get to know how to respond to you and communicate with you before you can. And if you need the help, and clearly if her being within walking distance is something that you note, it means you have trouble getting out of bed and getting to the thing. So her being that close is important, and it's something that you need to keep in consideration while you get to like the step where you think you can go out and find somebody who will help you, who's further out.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, if you really want an answer for why you feel guilty about certain things, I don't think there's anything wrong in your next session of pointing out, like, I want to know why I feel like this constantly. I'm sure she's not going to be like, oh, it's not the time for that. You know, she's not going to be like, maybe some other time. But to just like in 3 sessions in 3 weeks or however often to be like, well, she's not answering this question. I don't really know. It's too early for that.
It's too early. I think one of the problems that people have, especially when people say that they go to therapy, like you were saying when you were 16, and they're like, well, it didn't work for me. The question is also, okay, well, how many times did you go? Or did you want it to work for you?
Did you want to go?
Did you want to go? Because then people are like, well, impress me. Like, tell me all the things. Fix it.
Do some magic.
Right.
What's wrong with
Go
me?
to therapy, like waiting for the moment where they was like, I knew this was some bullshit. That's I'm not coming back.
They want to not believe in it, but like, if you're not going because you want to improve your own self, if you're not going because you want to figure out why you're always so goddamn miserable, like, you have to want to do the work, and it is real hard work.
Absolutely. And you have to be willing to acknowledge the inches of movement.
Yeah.
You have to be able to acknowledge
inches
those
a lot of the time, but they add up and they turn into miles.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you really feel like sometimes you are making zero progress.
Yeah.
Well,
but if you give yourself time, you know, because even now I still feel like, what is wrong with you? Like, when are you really back to this old shit? Like, I do this
me too.
constantly.
Yeah.
But when I look back to before I was getting this help and like really doing the work on myself and the ways that I think differently, it's like a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'm so much more like trained now to deal with those issues and those moments better than I was before. Thinking, and again, having had gone to a therapist before since 16 up until 3 years ago, however long it's been, I wasn't even thinking about therapy ever again. Like, I just wrote it off until that moment where I was like, if I don't do something right now, I am going to die. So there's not like any capacity for me to not do that work. But bitch, like, I'm so different, and I still give myself a hard time, but it's like that however long, it made a huge difference in the way that I think about treating myself.
And one of the best feelings in the world is when you are, for me at least, when you're at therapy and you think you're about to start on the same old bullshit, and then somewhere in the middle of it, you start to solve it. And like, and your therapist just looking at you like waiting for you to get there.
Totally,
and then you get there and it's like, oh shit. Like,
guess the puzzle, bitch.
Yeah.
Because you're figuring it out. And I'll be like, wait a minute. Or when I go
totally done this.
When I think one thing is the real issue, but we get it wrapped up in 10 minutes, and then she got me on some whole nother shit that I didn't even had no clue was at all. And I'm like, wait a fucking second. I thought we was gonna be spending a good 3 weeks on this.
I have started sessions with like, so this is the problem, and I talk for a straight 5 minutes, ending the 5 minutes, solving it my damn self. And then it's like, Okay, so here's what the problem actually was.
right.
So, yeah, like you just
Right.
sort of don't even realize like the improvements. And so it's totally important to give yourself a break and acknowledge the inches.
And you have to want to be there. You have to just like, even if you don't want to be there, you have to fake it. At least just like, fuck it, I don't want to be here, but I'm here, so let me just try. And you'll be so shocked because if you go in there not expecting anything, not participating in any way, then there's nothing, you're not going to get any help. You have to want that help, and you have to figure out later on what that help looks like for you, but you have to be present enough to present it.
You have to put yourself in the room.
Yeah.
Kids don't want shots. They don't want vaccinations, but you take their ass to go get it anyway, and you hold their hand while it hurts because it's going to hurt, but it's necessary. And like therapy is very much the same. Yeah. And if you have an issue where it's like, you know, you're at home after therapy and you're thinking, why do I feel guilty about so many things? It's fine to go back to therapy and ask her that.
Yeah.
Be like, I've noticed that I say this a lot. Why do you think I might be feeling guilty about something? And then you might uncover some shit that happened when you were 6. You totally forgot, didn't think it was an issue or what the fuck ever. And you like go back to the source of whatever this pain is, and you end up uncovering all kind of shit. Yeah. So I would bring that up.
My therapist and I have had sagas. Like we've had like 3 weeks straight where we're on the same thing, and she gives me homework and I come back and, you know, we talk about it again and things like that. Like, so sometimes it's not always going to be a session with your therapist where you sit down and you solve like this issue or this question you've had your whole life or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, girl, this is why you do that.
Yeah.
Like, nah. Like,
if it was that simple, you would have figured it out at some point yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We spent a good 6 months on my ex, but probably, you know, 1 month of that was actually about my ex, and the rest of it was about why do I keep making these decisions? Yeah. Why do I keep not choosing myself? Yeah. Why do I keep putting other people's needs before my own? Because the ex
is like a speck in like the larger picture of how
it's like, I mean,
felt.
yes, my experience with you was beyond shitty. I'll never forget how awful it was, but you were just one of many issues throughout my life.
It just manifested in this huge way, but it shows up in many small increments.
Exactly.
One of the things about 3 years ago was my last and like the worst depressive episode I ever had. Like I was done. Like I was 100% like, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. Because you get tired of that cycle. You feel better, and then you know that eventually at some point you're not going to feel great again. Right. And I was just done with it. But one of the things that I discovered with my therapist during these last 3 years was that I use relationships as emotional cutting. I need to feel terrible. I need to feel excited about something. I'm going to put it all on this one person so that when they eventually, because clearly they're going to they're not going to live up to all the stuff that I put on them. And so that when they do, I'm ready to fall and like just be so depressed and broken and, oh my God, it's so terrible and everything's horrible and I can't do anything right. But I did that on purpose. I set all that in motion. Doesn't take away from who that person was, because they were clearly not the right choice and they're clearly not the person I should have been with.
But it's not even about them.
But I chose them for a reason. Yeah. And the reason was that I could slide myself up against them and like cut myself with the stuff that they offered. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm not good at relationships. I got to figure out why that is later, because I'm not trying to be in a relationship right now. But I know that that's something that I got to put up there on that list of things to talk about in the future.
That's real. Well, we have taken so much of your time. I cannot believe it's already been 45 minutes.
Feels like I've been talking for 10.
I know, right? Do you have time to do one more, or do you have to get out of here?
I'm all yours.
Yeah, let's do one more.
I'm all yours. Let's do one more.
I've got liquor.
This one is about, and it's interesting.
No, they don't care. They hear this ice.
They know. And we be drinking. So, but it's interesting that you ended on a relationship note, because this question is about dating. It comes from Cam, who says, since you all have been very open in regards to dealing with your mental health and the struggles that you've had, what precautions do you take with dating and suffering with forms of mental illness? How soon are you open about it with the person you're getting to know? Do you think there should be a level of understanding or patience that the other person should have with you? And then she gets into some of her own stuff, but yeah. So yeah, let's just end it. Yeah, with like, in regards to the dating and relationship scene, how do you approach it? Do you tell your potentials that you're dealing with an illness, that you're on meds, that you're in therapy? And when do you disclose that and why?
I mean, I was just going to say, like, I said earlier, like, I don't really care how you take it. To me, like, if I'm open with you like that and like it's a problem for you or you fall back, great. You know what I mean? I'd rather you fall back because you don't know how to handle it or whatever than for you to stick around and possibly make me feel a way or bad or attempt to because of me going through whatever the motions are. So I don't really have a problem. I'm not going to tell you like immediately, oh yeah, girl, I'm on meds or whatever, but I don't have a problem discussing my depression, especially because it often comes out at some point early on anyway, through communication or lack thereof, I should say, where it's like, oh, where you been? Or what are you doing? Da, da, da. You know, at home feeling like shit. So, didn't call you. So sorry.
Yeah. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, I'm not on Fury and Crystal level, but I think that but I'm saying that
what's happening?
No. What I'm saying is that we don't have the luxury of hiding it because we can. People know because we're open about the shit that we talk about and the things that we go through. So we don't have the luxury of hiding it. But I've learned that. I've learned a couple of things. One, that it's not anybody else's responsibility to deal with my mental health.
Right.
You don't have to. I wish that you were more sensitive to that. But if you can't be, because it is a difficult thing to ask of someone, I have to be okay with someone not wanting to be in my life because of that. Because I also know that I've also lived long enough to know that people, even when they're well-intentioned, can say it wrong. Like they can say things like, "Oh, are you off your meds?" And they mean it in the best way possible. But it doesn't hit it doesn't hit well. You know, it doesn't feel right when somebody says that to you, right? So it's one thing for people to be empathetic and to understand, another thing for them to actually deal with it and deal with what that actually means. So when I say to you, because of my depression, X, Y, and Z, because of my anxiety. I think anxiety is the one that like really kind of takes on a life of its own because you're paranoid and you're thinking, you know, this person didn't text me back in 2.5 minutes, therefore they must have heard something and now they hate me and all that different kind of thing. But like, it's not their responsibility to deal with that. It's their responsibility, if they want to take it, to understand it and say, I get it. I want to understand it more, but this is difficult for me. And if we can have that conversation, that's great. But no one's required to have that conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
And I personally have made the decision not to be in any relationship like substances until I am able until I know that I am firm in what it is that I'm doing.
I'm totally using relationship like substance. Like absolutely using that.
Defines so much.
Totally.
Means a lot.
Yeah.
I think the biggest way therapy has affected me as far as dating is like I am now able to have boundaries around situations, which I was never able to do before. So I really haven't had to have too much of like the therapy talk again, because I'm pretty open about mental health and how I think therapy is literally the best thing ever, and being on antidepressants, which honestly, it's getting harder to meet people who aren't on antidepressants.
Yeah, and you want me on medication. Like you want this. You want this.
You want me on that bupropion every morning. Okay, you need that. So yeah, for me, it's been more like being able to draw boundaries where I need to. Being able to draw boundaries led to me being able to be radically honest and not try to like sugarcoat things or say them in a certain way to where I don't hurt your feelings. Like my thing was always, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Like how many times I thought about breaking up with my ex every 10 days, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want him to think X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not doing it. Like all of that is gone. She's done. That's over. And it's made it easier for me not to be mean or cruel, but to say straight up, this is what I'm looking for. And if you're not with it, then we don't need to talk no more. And I'm good with it either way. So it's really up to you. And this is genuinely how I feel. So I'm like not selling myself short anymore. I'm not lying to myself.
And I think it's really important for us to acknowledge and disabuse ourselves of this idea that taking care of yourself means that you are punishing somebody else. And when it comes to like boundary drawing, one thing that I've learned over the last couple of years is that the way that boundaries look, it's different than what I thought it looked like. It might be, I can't call you at noon because noon is just a bad time for me to talk, or I have to get off the phone because of this, or I don't want to come to this thing. I don't want to text you back. If you don't hear from me, at this time, it's not because of anything, or I'm not thinking that you're not returning my calls, or it's just about being very secure about who you are and where you are and what it is that you need to be a useful and healthy person. And once you put that first, and you know when you're being an asshole, you know when you're being selfish, you know when you're just being a dick about how you are choosing, your boundaries, So when you're doing it in a way that is best for you and healthy for you, it's ultimately best and healthy for the other person.
Absolutely.
Ultimately.
And I found that being in the position where you think and move that way is sort of off-putting for a lot of people because they're not used to that level of forwardness or honesty. They're used to other people thinking well, I'm not going to say this, or I'm not going to be this honest because I'm afraid of blank, blank, blank. So I find that a lot of times when I very calmly, very kindly, I'm just oh, well, I'm not really feeling this, or I'm not into that, or this doesn't work for me.
With no explanation. I don't want to.
It's just are we on Earth? Well, I didn't know people spoke like this.
Sure do.
And I'm I didn't know that would be shocking, that I was just telling the truth.
I had to train myself, and my therapist gave me this note. When I want to over-explain, I say the thing. I don't want to. And then in my head, I can give all my excuses and reasons I don't want to because no. But the only thing I'm allowed to say is I don't want to. And once you learn that and learn to just be able to say I don't want to, I'm not going, I don't feel like it, without all the other disclaimers and explanations, it becomes much easier to navigate because people aren't used to hearing that. They're used to hearing the lie and the excuse. Yeah. And once you don't give that to them, it takes them a moment not to feel offended by it. But then when they really feel, why are you offended? I said I didn't lead you on. Right. I didn't lie. I didn't show up half-assed because I didn't want to do it, but I said I would do it anyway. You got the honest version of this. And once people recognize that you've given that to them, they take it and they appreciate it. You didn't waste anybody's time.
Yeah. It's I don't want to, not fuck you and your stupid ass, trash ass, little bitch ass event.
Period. And if you heard that, then that's you and your therapist that need to discuss that. Because that's not what I said.
Period.
That's not what I said.
Right.
Well, Bassey, thank you so much for coming through to the show. It is an honor to have you. You and I will be at Bowery Poetry on Monday.
Yes.
The day before your book comes out. Yes. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking about the book, and I'll be asking you questions, of course, about it, and just basically standing for you all over again in real life because you mean so much.
Thank you. And can I just
really everything.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. I had to take a Xanax and
girl,
and go into my DMs and ask because what you guys do here, it's just so important. I know that you guys have a lot of fun and you do the hot topics and hot bottoms and all that, and we all laugh and we love that. But when you guys get really honest and real, what you're doing is so important because so many people who aren't able to have these conversations amongst themselves have these conversations with you. I respond to a lot of your listener letters at home, no, what they should have said. But we all have that because we're able to place ourselves in it because you guys make it so comfortable and make it so honest and make it so natural to have these conversations. So what you're doing here is super important, and I hope that you guys recognize that and realize that.
Thank you. I'm learning to accept compliments and not be like, girl, I'm garbage.
Yeah, so please take it.
That's on the list of therapist discussions.
Because we used to do that a lot. We used to call ourselves trash a lot.
You guys are not trash. You guys are beautiful treasures and amazing.
Trash. Thank you so much. So yes, tickets available at BoweryPoetry.com. They are $10 in advance, $15 at the door. I'm so excited to have that conversation. Tell the people where they can find you online and
on Twitter, Instagram, and whatever else is there. I'm Bassey World, Bassey World. My book, I'm Telling the Truth, But I'm Lying, will be everywhere books are sold on August 20th.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Thanks again, Bassey. Y'all, we are going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hey, y'all, so listen. The easiest way to ease back into a routine is to simplify mornings and evenings. With an electric toothbrush from Quip, its timed sonic vibrations offer an effective clean that's gentle on your sensitive gums in just 2 minutes, twice a day. And the multi-use cover works as a stand and mounts to mirrors, putting brushing front and center in your bathroom. Better yet, the lightweight, compact design means you can bring it along with you on those last summer weekend getaways, or maybe just an overnight trip to you-know-who's house. And brush heads are automatically delivered on a dentist recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. Yes, you do need to change your brush head.
You do.
Making it easy to stay committed to your oral health. I love this toothbrush. It's so tiny and it's like compact.
Yes.
And just hits you on all of the right keep your mouth clean notes.
Exactly. And I am a germaphobe, so that whole being able to cover that thing when you're traveling and all that means so much to me. I've started doing Naomi Campbell's airplane disinfectant routine, and I ordered some Dettol wipes off of Amazon because
Same.
I am not playing around with germs, okay? And Quip makes it very easy for me to live as germ-free of an existence as I possibly can. That's why it's perfect for getting back into a routine if you haven't already. Quip starts at just $25, so go to getquip.com/theread right now to get your first refill pack free. Again, that is your first refill pack absolutely free at getquip.com/theread. Let them know we sent you. Let's move on.
So when you're selling online, getting your orders out of the door into your customers can be daunting. It can be dramatic. It can take forever. And sometimes you just want to, I don't know, have a drink or lay the hell down or whatever instead. It's just too much. That's why you should use ShipStation.com because it's the fastest, easiest, and most affordable way to manage and ship orders out of your door. And we know so many of y'all are on here selling things, shirts and art and keychains and butters and all kinds of fun stuff. ShipStation helps you get those orders out of the door quickly, save money on shipping costs, and keep your customers happy no matter what you're selling or where you're selling. Maybe it's on Amazon, Etsy, or you have your own website. ShipStation can bring all your orders into one interface that you can manage from any device, even your phone. So if you're a real on-the-go girl, like a BT drama, then ShipStation works with all major carriers, including USPS, FedEx, UPS, and even Amazon Fulfillment, so you can compare and choose the best one. It's just super easy.
It is. It's so easy. Alex uses it. We don't personally, but Alex does. On Shop the Read, when y'all buy your merch and send us pictures of your adorable babies in their onesies and stuff like that.
Love them.
You can thank ShipStation for getting it out to you quickly. And right now, y'all can try it free for 60 days when you use promo code READ. There's no risk at all. You can start your free trial without even entering your credit card info. I know you niggas are wary about that, but you can do it. Just visit ShipStation.com, click the mic at the top of the homepage, and type in READ. Again, ShipStation.com, promo code READ. Make ship happen with ShipStation and us. All right, let's wrap up the show.
We are back. It is now time for the read.
It is. Do you have a read this week?
I do. I have one quick thing to say, and then I'm going to jump into the
Cue the next 25 minutes.
So... First of all, I've been tuning into this Amazon show called The Boys, which is it's a superhero drama comedy. I don't know what to call it. Okay. But I'm Kid Fury, superhero, you have my attention. Right. So I'm watching it and it's like really adult and graphic and cussing and blood and like I know that it's like based on a graphic novel or something and it's supposed to be like dark and edgy and whatever the fuck. But there was one scene in one of the last episodes that I watched that involves like a plane hijacking, and they use these actors who are Muslim or seemingly Muslim to be the ones that hijack the train and speaking another language and all that stuff. Yeah. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that I felt like that was incredibly like corny. I felt like it's 2019, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You could have absolutely done anything with that hijacking moment. But the fact that you wanted to like perpetrate this idea that Muslim people, Arab people or whatever, hijack planes and commit forms of terrorism and stuff, that I just felt like it was so lame for whatever it is that y'all are trying to do. The rest of the show to me so far has been fine, but first of all, that whole scene was a little too intense. Especially as someone who only got over a fear of flying because I was forced to fly everywhere for work.
Nigga, you used to like grip my arm.
Yes.
Like, I cannot do this.
I can't. Now I'm like, girl, when is this bitch gonna land? like
You're
turbulence.
professional.
Girl. So that scene was already intense, but I just felt like that was a little irresponsible. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something that you boys fans can hit me to, but I wasn't a fan of that. The rest of the show is fine. And I really honestly watched it because Superheroes and Laz Alonso has been as fine as all hell for as long as I can remember. I mean, what a mighty fine. Ever since like one-on-one or I don't know if niggas remember this show on UPN called Cuts. With Marcus
Cuts
Houston.
was very short-lived.
Thank you. Oh my God.
But I do remember it.
Cuts was fun, but it was definitely short-lived.
Yeah, it was short-lived.
Shannon Elizabeth and Marcus Houston. It was a one-on-one spinoff. Anyways. It was a spinoff of one-on-one.
It was a one-on-one spinoff.
I feel like Marcus Houston was like Flex's brother or cousin or something. And then Flex like invested in this barbershop. And they had a couple of episodes or something on one-on-one. And then they spun it off into its own thing. Anyway, whatever. Laz Alonso was fine is the point. The Boys is good, but I didn't like that. Anyway, moving on. So, now, passing the read.
Pass the read like we used to.
Okay, so, this letter, I don't know if you want me to say her name or not, so I'm just going to say, I'm going to call
her a fake
you,
name real quick.
I'm going to call you Razonda.
Oh, Lord.
I don't know why I did it. Okay, so it says, this is for the bird-ass bitches and the dumbass niggas who have showed their asses online this week, including my cousin, bitch, don't let me see you. I'll hurt your motherfucking feelings.
Oh, my God.
So, hey, I love that it says, hey. It literally, after that, says, hey. Like,
it's so fun and festive over here, girl.
Yeah. As you may already know, my home state, Illinois, just passed a law saying that it is now required to teach LGBT history in public schools.
Oh, my God.
Need I read more?
You really oughtn't, but please do.
Which is amazing. I love that my history, hopefully not the whitewashed version because I am black.
No, it will be. Sorry. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Best. At best.
They're going to mention James Baldwin, and that's going to be the end of it.
I wasn't even finna say James. I was going to take it over to Stonewall.
Oh.
And say, maybe we get Marsh.
They might.
Maybe we get Marsh. Like, I don't know.
Or that one nigga they pretended to let in the NFL, but not really.
Oh, right. I forgot his name.
Me too.
Oh, they super did.
He didn't make it out the practice room. First openly gay.
That was really fucked up. What was his name?
Listen, America wasn't ready. And
it was so cookie cutter, and he seemed so sweet. He had his little white man.
It's just wild. Michael Sam.
Yep.
It's wild because, he really could have had a huge career, but damn.
All right.
Yeah, anyways.
I love that my history is being taught to kids. Some of them may even be LGBT who are trying to figure themselves out, but it seems like I'm the only one excited. This week, Twitter and Instagram, it's a church thing, and Instagram has been a shitstorm. When is it not? The Shade Room got their hands on the news and black people decided they wanted to show their whole ass.
Oh, Lord. Their entire
motherfucking unwashed, musty, unlotionized, ashy asses. Saying, oh, why can't they teach black history and not this LGBT shit? Or some shit like, they always trying to shove this LGBT shit down our throats. First of all, you stupid fucking bitch. Right to the point.
My favorite.
Most of y'all skipped history back in high school, so maybe if you would have went,
and you know that,
you would have known.
And you know that.
You would know that many high schools have African American history classes for y'all to learn about shit you don't care about until a white person bothers you. We fully had African American history classes in high school, and no, it was just high school when I was growing up.
Yeah, we had like in February we had like a lot of Black history stuff. And then in high school, I remember there being a bit of a more emphasis, but it wasn't really till college that I got really into stuff.
It was way more accessible.
That's when I started taking my African American studies classes. Yeah. That's when my eyes.
Because African American studies, I feel like we had one teacher, and that one teacher in my high school probably fought tooth and nail for it.
Oh, yes.
And you could never get it. Like, you know how you had to like choose the electives or whatever you wanted?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I always chose that. and broadcasting, and
Yes.
I never got African American studies, but I
Listen.
did get broadcasting my last year. Anyways. Okay, so keep that in mind next time y'all have fake outrage towards a racist celebrity or some bullshit a corporation did. Second of all, shove LGBT shit down our throats, but you dumbass niggas talking loud on Twitter on I can't wait to scare my daughter's boyfriend away, or you bird ass bitches talking about, oh, I'm gonna teach my son to respect and treat women right. I ain't gonna let no dirty ghetto ass bitch get near him. Preaching all of this straight bullshit you're going to do to your unborn child. I'm sick. I am so sick and tired of the subtle homophobia y'all have internalized. Talking about I'm not homophobic, but I don't want my kids learning this. Think about that shit. Think about why you don't want your kids to learn anything about LGBT history. Why does it upset you so much? Why do you have an issue with your children being exposed to these issues? Are you really not homophobic, or do you just like the things the gays did for you? I don't. Okay. How the gays and trans women created most of the slang you say today. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah.
How they created the fashion that y'all be stunting on IG with. Ooh, girl.
Come on now. Well,
She done already had hers.
goddamn.
Y'all be preaching about how being gay is okay, but sit down in church and lose your fucking mind and start screaming amen when the pastor says being gay is a sin.
Mess.
Now gays will go to hell. You bird ass hoes and dumb ass niggas. Oh, she said bitches. I'm free. You know, it's just, I'm spiritually connected. I feel like I'm doing a little bit of you and a little bit of me. You bird ass bitches and dumb ass niggas need to figure out your life. Go figure out why you're so bothered by your future kids learning about LGBT history. You need to evaluate what your fear is. Are you afraid your child may come out gay or trans? Is that why? Oh, come out as gay or trans. Is that why you're so afraid? You shouldn't have kids if you fear that your child might end up as gay and or trans, because no child deserves to be put in a world where their parents don't love them unconditionally. And it says, and that's my read sent from my iPhone. So, Rosanda, I just want to say,
said what needed to be said.
Rosanda resonated with me.
Yes. Amen.
I can't understand why so many of you not only want to remain ignorant, but you want your kids to as well. As we've said so many times, and I really, if nothing else about this gay shit or whatever else, I really want you to take this to heart. Exposure to the fact that queer people and trans people exist is not going to make your baby queer, trans, or anything else under this umbrella.
Right.
All it will let them know is that these people are out here and they're going to keep being out here.
Right.
And hopefully, if they are exposed by the right people in the right ways, will understand that there is nothing wrong with that.
Come on.
And that they should respect these people the same way that they respect anybody else.
Good luck.
Because at the end of the day, we all human beings and it ain't none of your motherfucking business anyway. But see, that's the issue. It's not that you don't want your kids to learn this. It's that you don't want your kids to be tolerant. Because as much as you want to say that you don't have an issue with homophobia, or you don't have an issue with gay people, or whatever the fuck, much like racist white people say they don't have an issue with black people, you do. You think that there's something wrong with it, and you want for your kids to think that there's something wrong with it too. You don't want for your kids to grow up feeling like, oh, well, gay people just exist, and like it is a thing, you know what I mean? It is what it is, and it's just another part of being a person on this life. And I don't have a heaven or hell to put anybody in, so let me just respect it. You don't want that. You want for your kids to think the way that you do, and the way that you do is fucked, and that's the point. That's the point. And literally, if you look at the reports of this, first of all, Illinois is not the first, second, or third state to have this. California's got it. New Jersey has it. I can't remember the other place. Maybe Connecticut or something. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But like nobody anywhere, if you read this stuff, it's just like, well, I want for the girls to be gay. And I don't feel like my students watch enough Drag Race. And I just feel like they need to know how sickening Shea Coulee is. Like everybody who's talking about why this matters is saying it's literally about fighting intolerance.
Yes.
If
And
there
it
were
matters.
more kids, because honestly, the only kids who are out here who identify as cis, straight, or whatever that are tolerant are mostly tolerant because there are other kids out there who are inspiring them to be tolerant, or because they are just meeting people who may be queer or trans that they see with their own eyes and mind, or just regular kids like they are that they have no reason to disrespect. And God bless them. And maybe they do come from households that are also have people in it that are grown and have sense and are just being like, child, they ain't got nothing to do with you. And girl, mind your motherfucking business and treat everybody with respect. The only reason that you could have a problem, my nigga, think about all of the historic shit that your black, brown kids are learning in school anyway.
Right.
Think about all of the quote unquote history that you've learned, that you learned, and all of the bullshit that was printed in textbooks when you were coming up as it relates to like race and the like. Why do you think that so many people have fought to have African American studies and history and stuff like that be a focus in their schools in the first motherfucking place? So we can fight the bullshit that is in these books. So we can fight the bullshit that is perpetuated by all of the wrong people and get people to understand what it really means and where we're really coming from, what really affects us, and what our history actually looks like.
Right.
Your kids are learning all kinds of shit in school right now that don't fucking matter at all. Bringing home grades to you where they're being taught things at like really, and my parents taught me this pretty early on when I would say, well, like I don't understand why I need to understand what X equals. Like a lot of the stuff in school is not about learning specifically what they're teaching you as much as it is learning how to learn. Yeah. So why you have an issue with your kids just learning about people that exist and have existed before you, your mama, your grandmama, your great granddaddy, and will long exist if the world is still here after you and your kids are dust. I don't understand why you have such a why you just have such a infection when it comes to this existing. Besides, but it's like if you're going to, don't disrespect me and other queer and trans people by saying that you are not homophobic or transphobic, because that's not how this works.
Right. It's
That's not how this works.
Right, and you literally are that.
The same way, and I know you niggas hate it, and it makes me love it even more. The same way that it would be racist to say, oh, well, I don't understand why my kids need an African American studies class, whether they take the class or not.
Because this is a group of people who are underserved, whose stories are frequently not told, whose stories are important to the fabric of this society, to the story of this country, and yet they have historically been ignored or stomped out or whatever the fuck else. Like, girl, it's not hard. It's really not. You could just not be a dick, and that would be so much better.
Black American people are still to this day,
say it,
on top of everything that you have just said that has been public knowledge for the longest, still undervalued, still murdered, still disrespected, still wrongly incarcerated and all of this other type of stuff. That's why that type of shit, like African American studies, history, whatever, is so important. And we champion shit for that shit all day long. So I just don't understand why you can't see the same thing with this. Although, like I have theorized already, I think a lot of people of color, specifically black people, look at LGBT shit as white gay shit and don't see the intersectionality in it, which in itself is such an issue because there are already enough white gay people that don't see that. So girl, if you motherfuckers don't strap your goddamn boots up and get with the motherfucking program, bitch, fuck, why do you want your kids to be as stupid as you?
LGBTQ history is Black history.
I mean,
there are so many of those who are both
time?
of those things. It is Black history.
Maybe one more time?
It must be said. It must be told. It must be celebrated. Like, girl, it's not... I don't even think niggas realize how stupid they sound when they say shit like that. I really don't. I think they don't have any clue how ridiculous that sounds.
But I mean, on the list of stupid, that's not even there's way more. I guess maybe I'm just used to people being stupid when it comes to
oh, you knew that.
Sexuality, race, and things like that. So there are other things that I'm blown away by in terms of stupidity these days.
Yeah, but fuck that.
Come on, bro. Like, I thought people had kids and would say normally that they want for their kids to be bigger and better than they were. Well, I'd like to see it, as Monique said.
See, people want that, but they don't know how to give that to their kids. And that's why I have to celebrate everybody who is strong enough to realize that the way they grew up and some of the shit they were taught was just fucking wrong or ignorant in whatever way. And you have to be strong enough to break that cycle of family bullshit.
Yes.
Which is so hard to do.
Yes.
But it has to happen. It has to happen at some point. And as far as I'm concerned, it's happening with me. My child is not going to deal with the bullshit that I had to deal with as far as mental health and shit is concerned. And I get that, you know, they didn't necessarily have the tools or the knowledge or the ability or what the fuck ever else to deal with their shit and not pass along their hatred, but I do. And so I am not doing that.
The end. Like, I don't even know.
Stop traumatizing your children who didn't ask to be in this world.
Because not many of us...
Stop fucking them up.
Not many of us can get to an adult and, like... I was going to say, like, self-sufficient age, but self-sufficiency is completely irrelevant. Not many of us can get to an adult age and unpack a lot of the stuff that we were covered in as kids and be like, oh, here's the right and the wrong of all of this stuff. Right. A lot of us go into the grave just repeating cycles and not knowing any fucking better. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you, get over yourself.
Say it again.
You don't fucking know everything. Everything that you learned or everything that you were taught ain't right.
Yes. It's not. Be willing
You can learn a little something new.
You could.
Every day.
If you wanted to.
Thank you. If you want to, you have to be willing to. Okay? You can't wake up every single day and act like you got it all figured out. That's the quickest way to lose.
Exactly.
I know I don't know shit. Okay, I have a decent grasp on certain things that I myself have experienced or studied, but I know I don't know shit. And I'm completely welcome in learning new things every day, as well as learning how I've been wrong on things that I thought I was right about.
Yes.
But you girls who are ready to not only go to hell, but take your children along with you on some dumb shit that doesn't even need to exist, I can't wrap my mind.
Amen.
I'm done.
Woo.
That probably was about 25 minutes.
Yeah, like I said.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Whatever.
It's fine. I really am going to be brief real quick. This is something that I know we've touched on before, but now that it affects me personally, I feel like even a deeper level to it. So the MTA is garbage.
Ooh.
For a lot of reasons.
So many.
But one of the biggest is the accessibility problem. Only about 80%, I think. It might be slightly... wait, no, not 80%. Only like 20% of the subway stations are actually like wheelchair accessible or accessible to people who have disabilities.
Crazy.
Which, you know, again, I understand because the subway system was built a long ass fucking time ago. However, disabled people have always existed.
Forever.
And y'all should have always been on this shit.
I mean.
So I twisted my ankle on Sunday. You know, as far as ankle injuries go, it is relatively mild, but I can't put my full weight on it without hurting. You know, I got this fucking boot on.
Yeah.
And it's going to be this way for a while until my ankle decides it's done throwing a temper tantrum.
Fine.
And unlike you, I do take the train. Mainly to therapy because I go to therapy in Midtown in the middle of the day and traffic is just absurd.
Right. You know, you're completely right.
It's like I could spend the exact same amount of time on the train and only spend $2, or I could spend $40 to take an Uber into Manhattan. Right. It's not worth it.
And likely take longer in many things.
Right. In many cases, because from my apartment to my therapist's office is a cute 30 minutes tops on the train.
And don't let you have a Lyft driver like I did today who was in Harlem talking about, you're not going uptown?
Listen.
No, I'm not.
I know I've cussed Uber out many times, but Uber's GPS to me works better than the other services. Like Lyft never seems to actually know where I am. Like they couldn't continuously like go around the corner or whatever. It's very frustrating. Anyway, this is not about any particular rideshare company. This is about MTA and the fact that disabled people have always existed. They will continue to exist. And yet so much of the MTA is not accessible to people who truly need it. Now, I am very fortunate in that I can just take a car anywhere I need to go. And for the first time in almost 2 years, I took a car to therapy this week because the thought of, first of all, walking to the train station, which is not far, but when you got a fucked up ankle, is incredibly
miles,
far.
right.
But once I get there is no elevator at my train station. So then I have to hobble my ass down the stairs, risk getting pushed down the stairs by people who are trying to catch their train.
Right.
Because look, shit happens.
I mean, nobody even gives a fuck.
But like, even if I really, really tried and took my time and all that, I could probably manage it. But it would be so much fucking work because the MTA has not bothered to update their shit at every fucking station. And it's like, y'all continue to take more money. Y'all continue to raise fares. Y'all continue to claim to be doing all these repairs and bullshit. When are y'all going to get to the fact that disabled people cannot easily and readily access the largest public transportation system in the United States? It does not make sense. You know what you can do? You can call Accessoride. Pray that they are there within a reasonable, they give you like a 2-hour window or some shit. It's not even remotely dependable. And then I've read stories from people who are like, yeah, my Accessoride driver was jacking off in front of me while I was strapped in my chair in the back. Yeah, like ridiculous things that people have said about this. So you can ask, you can hope, and pray for the best with Accessoride. You can get on the bus, which is automatically 3 times as long to get anywhere as the train would be because the bus stops at everybody's house.
Everyone.
The bus literally stops every other block. I'm not exaggerating. The bus stops every other block.
Yes.
So a 30-minute trip is easily an hour and 15 minutes if you are taking the bus. But the bus is accessible, unlike the train. Or you can cough up, 20 times more money to take a car wherever you need to go. And it's just ridiculous. It does not make sense. The MTA has been around for I don't even know how many years, probably over 100. Girl, it's time for y'all to make sure that every station has at least an escalator, but absolutely an elevator, because there are some people in wheelchairs who cannot get out of them and they need to use the train and go to work just like everybody else.
Think about all of the mamas that be like praying somebody takes pity on them.
That girl who died trying to carry her stroller down the stairs and fucking fell. It's absurd that is a thing. Sense. And even the stations that do have elevators, them elevators are nasty. They're tiny. They're frequently broken or out of service. And they move slower than molasses.
You're going to miss 4 trains before you get there.
You absolutely are. It will take you 10 minutes to go from above ground to where your fucking train is. It don't make sense. So MTA, like even me and my little temporary disability and all that, like, well, actually, able-bodiedness is the temporariness. To be completely real about it, because it can be snatched from any of us at any time. But like even me with this ankle injury that will almost certainly heal up and I'll be fine. It's like it is bad enough that I simply cannot take the train now. I cannot take the train. You know how many people depend on the train in New York City? I want people who don't live here. People, even if you don't take the train, you depend on it because somebody you working with takes the fucking train. I promise you that.
That's a fact.
The train is the lifeblood of this city. When the train is down, you're not expected to be nowhere. You don't have to go nowhere because
and that's
nobody.
Not an exaggeration.
It's not. It's literally like, oh, well, ain't nobody coming to work today because MTA is down. Period. Like you're simply not going nowhere if MTA is not running. It is that important to the city. So you are excluding a huge segment of the population that cannot go about their own errands or go to work or go about their daily activities because they cannot get on the fucking subway. It just doesn't make sense. And yes, I know the bus is there, but the bus is really only viable if you go in a maximum of 20 blocks. If you need to cross, if you need to go across Manhattan or God forbid, leave the borough you're in, bitch. You're talking about spending 3 hours on the fucking bus to get wherever you're trying to go.
4 stops max, or I'm not getting on.
And here's the thing, like, that's not one bus to take you wherever you need to go. You got to get off and transfer over and over and over and over.
But y'all want to talk about chasing down people who
we would rather have your $275 fare than your $100 ticket. Girl, if you don't suck my ass.
First of all, bitch, you finna have nothing. If we're being honest.
It don't make no goddamn sense how MTA is able to just spit in our fucking faces, play right in front of us, and keep on going like they doing us a favor. Bitch, absolutely not. Get your shit together And that's it.
All right. Well,
Woo! Yeah, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of The Read. Don't forget to check out HBO's newest comedy, A Black Lady Sketch Show, starring a lot of our faves like Robin Thede, Quinta Brunson, Ashley Nicole Black, Gabrielle Dennis, with so many guest appearances, y'all. Issa Rae, Angela Bassett.
oh my God, they're about to do
Laverne
the
Cox.
227 sketch.
They're about to do 227 set. Robin's impersonation of Jackie is so good.
Like, she sounded exactly like her and looked exactly like her.
But she really did it. Like, she nailed it.
Oh my God.
Lena Waithe was just on this last episode. Loretta Devine was, like we just talked about, a wreck. It's just...
And a lot of sketches will have, like, recurrent... They'll come back.
They'll come back.
Like that, so that's dope.
Yeah, I was actually watching it with Robin, and she pointed out some shit to me that I hadn't noticed before. Like in the Invisible Spy sketch, when Ashley goes into the office and confronts her evil twin, there's a record on the wall behind her, and that record is the same one as like the doo-wop group that, you know, it was Chris Brown's grandfather.
Yeah.
It was like Claude and the Claudettes or whatever.
I know that at Essence, she said there were like a lot of Easter eggs and stuff that you would have to like pay attention to. And I am such a fan of that kind of shit. So I'm definitely like analyzing all of these scenes for like little stuff that we'll pick up.
There's
like the Fashion Nova application or whatever in that basic
that
bitch
was so
sketch.
good. But in that same sketch, like Angela Bassett gets a cup of coffee, and there's the coffee name is printed on like the canister or whatever, and that same coffee company it was featured in the very first sketch of the second episode when they work in the call center or whatever. They're working for that coffee company. So there's literally so many tiny details like that. Like,
I love that.
They left no stone unturned. I love it so much. A Black Lady Sketch Show airs Friday nights at 11 p.m. You can stream it now only on HBO. I am such a huge fan of everything y'all are doing over there. It's just such a good time. So yeah, check it out. And again, I will be with Bassey on Monday at Bowery Poetry. Tickets at BoweryPoetry.com. They're $10 in advance and $15 at the door. Kid Fury, any news for you this week?
I don't have any real news, but I guess we can mention that this TV show is going to be premiering soon. So
according to our contractual obligations, we must promote ourselves and tell you that
I mean, that's not what this is. I did what I didn't really do what I was supposed to do. Like,
you did not do what you were supposed to
whatever. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't. Listen.
The Read is coming to late night.
October 11th on Fuse.
That's right. 11 p.m. It will be on Fuse, the Fuse app, iTunes, and Amazon Prime. So between those four, hopefully you get the chance to tune in. We are working hard on it, and we hope y'all love it. And it's coming soon. Yeah, October 11th.
Couldn't happen without you girls. I know a lot of y'all are very excited and things like that. So thanks for the support over this, almost 7 years or something ridiculous. Because, you made it possible. So
and thank you, Missy, for being gracious enough to shout us out, because you really didn't have to do that, girl. So many of us have been advocating for you in this award because you truly deserve it.
As I said, I'm just glad I don't have to hurt nobody.
Right. Exactly. I mean, because we meant everything we said.
I did.
But you didn't have to. You didn't have to name us specifically, but you did. So thank you very much, girl.
Yes.
Love you down. All right. I think that's it for this week's episode of The Read. Do we have a word of advice or one of your acronyms or whatever today? This one is almost 3 hours. You bitches better be grateful.
When you remember, or when you think about how much you enjoy the City Girls or whatever record it is that comes on, know that they're Trina. The City Girls are Trina.
Ooh-wee.
Trina is the one and only, and I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say or think or feel about anything.
Trina is the Stallion's Annie. Period. You can't stand for Megan
Trina
without
is the stable.
She
like,
is.
Trina is literally the Trina. My girl, like, y'all bitches could literally never, and that's all y'all bitches. What's good?